peckish podium chasers this evening. That's what we've got to go with. Hope you're all well. COMMS by Coops here. As always, it is Tuesday evening. We know that means the most epic racing anybody is ever going to see or get involved in on the console. No questions at all. My voice is going already, which doesn't bode well, given the fact that, well, it's got to be quite a long evening, isn't it? So you all better give me loads of money or something. Right, so here we are, round 3 currently of, I think we're season 5. I'll double check that one. But round 3 at the Nurburgring. Spent a lot of time here over the last few evenings. My Discord is pinging all over the shop. I've got Ash, who's trying to send me secrets. I've got Art Dawes, who's trying to I think he's very excited just to be back with us, which is great to see. So welcome everybody, Formula Racing League Taco Tuesday. This is Tier 1 on the PS5. And as I do like to say, these are the finest chaps you are going to see on the console. We're just in free practice at the moment. I did go out a little bit earlier on, did a couple of laps this afternoon. Thought I'd change things up today. Normally we see my beautiful Ferrari sat in the pit lane, but this evening we're in a Porsche because the Ferrari's having a service. So we're going to see a very, very slick Porsche. Apparently looks really nice in the wet, but we'll see. As you can see though, in terms of the times in free practice, well, what have we got there? The top 13 are separated by less than a second, and Palermo, well, let's include him because he's just a smidge over a second in 14th. So, you know, Michael Races hasn't put a decent time in yet. Kaga's, remember, been running really high recently. Jetpacker, we know, is extremely quick, and I believe Ollie's also pretty quick. So bodes well for this evening. What's going to happen tonight? Well, normally it's a 60-minute race, as you will all be aware. This evening is the first of our 3 kind of special events throughout this 10-race season. So we're going to have a 15-minute qualifying session as always, but we're then going to follow that with a 90-minute race, which is beautiful. And that means you guys can listen to me for hours, literally hours tonight. There will be 2 mandatory stops just to spice things up. And I have heard, well, let's put it this way, last night we was at the Nurburgring for the Mixed Mondays season finale. If you haven't watched that, please go and watch it. It was absolutely amazing. We've got 2 new champions in there. There was so much drama in that race with the weather, pit strategies, and I'm hoping we're just going to have more of that this evening. So yeah, that's where we're at. Let's run through a couple of bits. Let's start as we did yesterday. Let's have a look at who is checked in to race this evening. Obviously we have 2 tiers now on the PS5 due to the popularity. So we don't have a full grid in terms of 29 drivers. Why not 30, I hear you ask? Again, if you're new, it's because on the PS5 the game is bugged. So me as the comms guy, my car is in the pits. And if I press drive to access all the external cameras, I'm then actually driving, which nobody wants to see, especially Shez, who I may have accidentally knocked a couple of his doors in free practice. But we won't talk about that. We don't need to talk about that, do we? No. So in for this evening, Michael Races, of course. Ponyfeed is in. Ben Milden is in. By the way, Ben, congratulations. He won his first FRL championship last night in the GT3s on the Mixed Monday. Again, he won that championship by finishing 7th. Yeah, so you need to see what happened. You really do. Kagatacos is in. Bruges is in. GT Jamie's in this evening. TK Drifter. Crazies. Again, Crazies and Michael Races. I'm not going to tell you exactly what happened, but those 2 were both neck and neck on the same points in the GT4 category last night. And I believe the championship ended with them both sharing. Again, never seen that before. You need to have a look at it. Rob2K's in. Hutch, Ams, who missed out on the GT3 championship by 4 points last night, unfortunately. Dokuno. Ben Gallagher is in. Good to see Ben. And again, he's setting some decent pace up there as Ollie Racing with a 1:54.921. Tops the free practice timing board at the moment. Palermo is in. Mario is in. Venom, great race last night, finished 2nd, was probably only 1 lap away from winning that, but Daz Parker took the race win, and he was saying to me afterwards in the live in the Discord that he was brave. He didn't change tyres, and he was running over 40 psi, bright red. He thinks he had one lap left in those tyres. Ash is in tonight, fantastic. Ash has got some really good secret stuff, which he has shared with me, and I'm not going to share with you because it's, you know, it's confidential. COMMS confidential. So there you go. Jetpacker is in. Let's hope he has another good race this evening. ART Doors is in. He's back. His first race in a long time. I think somebody decided they didn't want him to have any access to the internet for a few weeks. But he is now back with us, and I know he is extremely excited about that this evening. Good to see him out there. Mighty Road Racing narrowly missed out on the GT4 Championship last night, so he's in. Steph's in. Mr. Cool 444 Racing is with us. Remember last week he was setting a blistering pace, and then an old knee injury flared up. I think he probably just couldn't be bothered really, or his dinner was ready. But anyway, he's back in tonight, which is good. I know that will please Ben. And Keno is also in this evening. So Mitchellum is not with us. Traction is not with us. Tebow, whoever Tebow is not with us. And Andy Cray is not with us this evening. So in terms of reserves, Shigs and Shez, we've got Ollie and Miguelos. I haven't heard that name before, Miguelos, so when you arrive, welcome. And that's who we've got running tonight. Obviously, we do need to run through and let you know all of the standings. So I'll pull those up. This is obviously the really exciting part of the show, isn't it? When we talk about stats. So before we do that, let's go on board with Ollie Bosch. And let's see just how he's getting that Beamer around the track in a 154.615, because I'm not joking. I mean, okay, the track is now fast. I didn't check earlier. I'm assuming it was probably green, but I mean, we did say the top 14 was separated by less than a second, which would be true if Ollie didn't set that time, and then Jetpack has gone half a second behind, so I think the track is ramping up as you would expect. So standings currently in number one spot is Michael Races in the McLaren on 77 points. Ben Milden is second, only 5 points behind on 72 points. TK Drifter is third on 71 points. Then we've got Marty Road Racing who's fourth on 68 points. Pony Feeder in the Ferrari is fifth on 62. Ams is sixth on 57, and then Guido is seventh in his Ferrari on 52 points. Rob2K is 8th on 46, Traction is 9th on 44, Kagatacos is 10th on 42, Jetpacker is 11th on 32, then we've got Steph on 31 and 12, Ben Gallagher is 13th on 30, sharing those points there, same as Hutch in 14th, also on 30 points. Andy Cray is 15th on 24, and then we've got Keno DJ on 20 points in 16th, Palermoj is 17th on 19, Ash is then 18th on 18, GT Jamie's also on 18 points, so I know it says 19th, but there you go. Crazies is currently 20th on 12 points, and then Bruges and Cool are bringing up the rear on 0 points as Ollie comes into the pits. Weybridge? No Weybridge. Okay, so how does that affect the team standings? Might as well have a little look at those. Right, SBR Sim Racing are currently leading in the Bentley with 140 points. We're on YouTube in the McLaren or on 121. Full Throttle Racing are third place at the moment with 109 points. And then Not Fast Just Furious are in fourth on 101 points in the Jag. KG Racing in the Ferrari are on 82 points in fifth place. And then we've got Blue Streak Racing in the Audi. They're on 62 points in sixth. Flying Spuds, 7th place on 50 points. Fueled Up Motorsports are in 8th on 46 of the Beamer. Kagala Motorsport in the Ferrari on 42. And then STBK are 10th at the moment on 30 points. Georgie Priest, good luck to all the drivers today. Indeed. I echo that, Georgie. I missed you last night, my friend. I know you were probably busy over in the States doing something more important, but you did miss a hell of a race. So when you get time, obviously watch that back on my channel, please. And Ash is accidentally on purpose. What's accidentally on purpose, Ash? Let me know. We're talking about secrets again? What's going on? Right, so Jetpacker's currently, not Jetpacker, Ollie's setting the pace. Jetpacker is second. And then Rob2K, who was top before those two went out, is third, 8.5 tenths back. and the track has ramped up yet again. It was just fast a moment ago, it's now optimum. Again, last night we had, yesterday, free practice, we had quite heavy rain, and then it was dry for qualifying, and in the race it started dry, and then after about 3 minutes it started raining, probably rained for about 30, 34, 35 minutes, then the rain subsided and then decided to stop, and left everyone with 21 minutes worth of, oh dear, do I pit? Am I brave? Do I pit early and be on the wrong tyre at this point but the right tyre at the end? There was a lot going on last night, and I think there's going to be just as much going on this evening. So if we look, in actual fact, so the top 20 are only covered by 2 seconds, which is ridiculous. So if you take the top 2 out of that, Cooley's dropped in with a decent lap time as well there, so he's only just half a second behind as well. So people are out taking advantage, seeing how far they can push in free practice with the track now changing to optimum. So yeah, 4 in the live chat. Hello everybody, good evening. Say hello. Please don't forget to press the like button. It takes half a second. You know, we're not just doing a 2-hour stream tonight. No, it's more like 2.5 hours to 2 3/4 hours. So if nobody talks to me or presses like, COMMS is going to be sad. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. So 3 minutes left of free practice. Was that Michael just going through? No, and then Michael pulls over as well. Obviously, when we get into qualifying, we will do a lap guide, as we always do. I should know this track pretty well by now, because the Friday race on PC was at the Nurbs, last night was at the Nurbs, and here we are again at the Nurbs. Although, bonus for me, it means I haven't had to travel back home, so I'm still in my hotel room, which makes it really nice and easy to get to the track every day. Obviously, you will believe that. Why wouldn't you? So I did let a little bit of a secret out last night. Well, not a secret. Just I was saying there's some quite seismic changes going on within FRL, and then my good teammate Timmy Blunder today on a Teams chat from Abu Dhabi did point out that I didn't then go into too much detail about it. Obviously, he's my PR agent and tells me pretty much everything I do wrong every time I do a live stream. So we will detail that this evening. Yeah, we will go into more detail about that. I think it's extremely exciting if it works on the console, which I don't see why it wouldn't, because of, you know, fair play to our admin guys. You know, we're pretty much on the ball in terms of organisation. We've got a lot of admin support guys involved as well, and you guys all race with us regularly, so everybody's chipping in, which is great, and I think it could be quite exciting. I really do think it'll be quite exciting going forward, so we'll see. When I detail that later on, you guys can let me know what you think. So we're on board with Jetpacker at the moment with the Audi. I always expect to win a Porsche, but obviously that's a totally different series. Who's that then? So that is the 88 Ferrari, which is Kagatako's. Ooh, look at that. Kagatako's has got SBR at the end of his name. What kind of livery is he running there? Gold, black eagle. Okay. Oh look, Ben Milden. Milden's got SBR on the back of his name. What kind of livery? Oh, we can't see his livery at the moment. Interesting. Maybe that's a little bit of a clue about what we're going to talk about later on. And RSR Cooper is last, obviously. Right, back on board with Jetpacker anyway, as these guys are just utilising the last 30 seconds of free practice. I'm sure once this is done, there's going to be an influx of people on the live stream, and they're all going to be saying to me, "Good luck everyone, I'm just going for a wee." So if my mic goes very quiet later on for a little while, it's probably for that reason, because I'm not going to do what they do in real race cars and just leave a present for the next driver. That's certainly not going to happen. Right, so there we go. Free practice is finished. People can finish their laps or not. That is their choice. But certainly, Ollie Racing definitely setting the pace at the moment. Cool isn't far behind. 3 3/4 attempts pretty much. Then we've got Jetpack, who's half a second, and then Rob 2K and the huge Gaggle, who are all split by just a few tenths, are all sitting there. So how important is qualifying going to be this evening? Well, qualifying is always important. We have said for quite a few weeks now that the level of driving within this particular tier is ridiculous. So qualifying is important. However, we need to be mindful that we do have a 90-minute race. And I'm pretty sure, or would certainly be very disappointed, if we didn't have maybe some form of moisture fall from the skies at some point onto the track, just to make things just a little bit more interesting. So it's definitely not going to be, you know, who's in the first corner, who's going to win this race. That is not going to happen tonight. Strategy will play a big part. So anyone who's particularly out of place at the moment, Ash is out of place. Well, Venom, with the pace that he was running last night, I would expect him a bit further up park. Yeah, obviously I'm in my car. Great. So we start our 15-minute qualifying session. Pony loves to get out first. So does Doc Uno. Remember, Doc Uno's only been with us for a couple of weeks. Claire's in. Good luck, everybody, especially Keno. Now, will I stay awake tonight? I don't know. It depends how much you listen to me, Claire. Whether you find my voice soothing or annoying. So, I don't know. Maybe a silent disco. Maybe we should just keep an eye on what's happening on the stream. That might suffice. So we're on board with Ponyfeeder, who coincidentally is Keno's teammate. Obviously Claire wants him to do well as well, just not as good as Keno. Quite a few Ferraris in. So I was saying about Doc Uno, yeah, he's really impressed me. He's been in with us for a few weeks now. This is round 3. And he showed very, very good pace so far. We know what Ben's all about. He's got his first championship. GT Jamie's our coach, rapid. Pony's rapid as well. Marty Road Racing, he'd stick him in a GT3 or a GT4 car and he'll be sniffing around the top 3, top 5. Keno was really unlucky actually. He was chuffed that he got third in the GT3 championship in the Mixed Monday series, and probably was a little unlucky. Had a bit of a male race at Donington, was caught up in some issues in the first race at Monza, so maybe could have been higher. So we know Keno's got really good pace. Cool, we don't need to talk about him too much. I'm sure we will in the race. He's rapid. Yeah, he is definitely a challenger. I talk about Ben every week, and his pace just needs that consistency now. You know, and to obviously try and keep that race clean has been unfortunate. It's been a bit of an accident magnet recently, so let's see if we can avoid that tonight. Palermo has got his quick. Shigs did extremely well last night as well, very quick. Venom finished second last night, so he's quick. I'm obviously the fastest, but I just don't race anymore. Drifter, not much to say about Drifter. Rapid. Rob 2K is always around the top 5. ART Dawes was actually, when he was with us last time, had very, very good pace. So let's see if he can shake off some of that race rust this evening. Probably not going to be going for the win straight away. You will be in for a shock, Dawes. Yeah, this grid is rapid. Hutch is always really consistent. Bruges is always really fast. Crazies has won multiple championships. AMS only just missed out last night by 4 points and was extremely quick and is in every race that he does and consistent. Shares has impressed us in the last 2 rounds as well. Ash has got really good pace. Michael Races, don't really need to say much about Michael. Yeah, he's always challenging. For P1, Steph's quick. Kagatacos, don't know if it's moving from the Porsche to the Ferrari, but he has been really, really quick so far this season. Jetpacker was pretty much first or second in the GT3s, minus some internet issues, and Ollie Racing has just been smashing out the times in first place. So you guys tell me where the weak link is in this grid. Obviously, apart from oh damn Pony. Did you like the way I did that? I was going to go into a song. What's Claire saying? I did watch the last 10 minutes at 4:15 AM. Well done you. Did you press like? Well, I hope you did. But yeah, that's dedication for you. What are you doing up at 4:15? That's what I want to know. Anyway, Pony needs to recover. So, Doc Uno takes the lead in terms of leading the pack in qualifying. Optimum track, 18 ambient, 23 on track. So we've got some good temps out there for setting quick lap times. So we'll see what Doc Uno can do as he comes around Coca-Cola curve in the 112 Ferrari. So this is going to be our first lap in anger. Thank you, Claire. That's really great. A 155.932. You know what? On any other day, well, that would be really competitive. But I don't think that will. I don't think that's going to cut it too much this evening. Ben goes 12 thousandths slower in second, and then we've got Shares and Ash pops a time in as well. But then Ollie, well, and there we go. This is the beauty of it. So Ollie just put a time in and went top of the timesheets, and he's probably there thinking, come on. Yeah, free practice, number one. I'm number one at the moment with 10.5 minutes to go. Michael decides he's actually going to do a half decent lap, because I was watching him in free practice and he was not enjoying the NGK chicane at all in the McLaren. So I'm sure he's going to be very conscious of that this evening. But he just pops a time and he goes top of the charts with a 1:54.657. Competitive indeed. Ben Gallagher again showing his pace, only 87 thousandths further back, and the 45 Audi. GT Jamie's gone 4th, Jetpacker is 5th at the moment, Bruges is 6th, and then Doc Uno, his lap time is good enough for 7th currently. Ben's 8th, Rob2K's 9th, no, Drifter's put a time in as well, and then we've got Rob, Marty, we're on board with Shez at the moment, Ash, Cool, Palomoj, AMS, Ponyfeeder, Kino, Shig, so those guys haven't set a time yet. Very interesting. 14 watching at the moment. Good evening, everybody. Please do say hello in the live chat. We're going to be here for about 500 hours this evening, so we need to get a bit of excitement going in the live chat. As we have a beamer pull off to the side. Let's go on board with Ben in his Audi. Yep. Actually, let's not go on with Ben. So 112, that's Dokuno, and then Ben, right, Ben Milden, right, as he comes round the start finish straight, let's see what he can do. Right, so Ben's still on a quick lap, so down into T1, it's obviously a right-hander, we're looking for the 100 metre board on the left, braking just as we get to that, hard on the brakes, trail in, really tight through there, into first gear, straight on the power, get across to the right hand side of the track into second gear, and then we're going to back off the power, we're going to hug the curb on the left, not too much, I'm going to squeeze on, use all the exit on the right hand side, and then hard on the brakes as that green Astro ends, into first gear, tuck her in tight, take the curb, squirt the throttle there off, we're going to drop it up to second, and then we're going to squeeze the throttle on, not taking too much curb, we don't want to invalidate. Under the bridge, we're going to go right where the cones used to live there, then we're going to get on the brakes down to third, we're going to let the car coast in to take the speed, get back on the throttle, on the brakes, where the curb starts on the right, down into first, and then we're going to squeeze that on, use enough of that exit, again not too much to invalidate, then we've got the sprint down towards the hairpin, so we're going to keep left, where we've got the curb in, there on the brakes now, trail in hard into first, get her tucked in, about now, as soon as the car's balanced, we're going to squeeze that throttle on again, excuse me, using all the exit curb, on the way up to the Schumacher S's, we're going to off the power, just for a split second, it's just a tiny lift, just to allow the car to settle, and then we're straight back on the power again. Under the bridge, green Astro on the right, 100 board, on the brakes, down into second, must hook up that curb on the left hand side and then drift out wide, then we're going to drop it into second gear and just pause here, there's a little kink in the curb there, that's full throttle, and we are now absolutely full power all the way down towards the NGK chicane. So we don't want to be really touching curbs on the left and right hand side there. Looking for our braking point between the 50 and the 100, so brakes now down into third, throw her in. Now we get straight on the power. We do need to be using a lot of that curb, and the Bentley's good for that. Coca-Cola curve is second gear corner. Again, we're going to trail, keep it tight, get on the throttle early, not too early to get any oversteer, because that's going to slow you down all the way down the straight. And then there we go, bosh, there's a decent lap time. So Ben completes that lap time and moves into 10th place. I think he wants to go and make a couple of changes. Ollie is taking the fight to Michael at the moment as he comes into the pit lane. He's gone quickest with a 1:54.480. Michael is 1 3/4 tenths behind in his number one McLaren. So it's hotting up nicely. Ben's still in third. Jetpacker's fourth. GT Jamie, I'm sure he's hoping for a decent race last night. He joined in yesterday as a reserve and had a quiet race, right, in terms of he was just getting on with it. He was just driving really well, getting on with it, and he ended up in 4th place at one point. I thought he was going to get third, and then there was an issue with a GT4 car, and well, that was that literally, and then I think he left because he's probably a bit angry, really. So 4 points to you, Jamie. Right, down into T1, on board of Michael at the moment. Well, we've got 6 minutes left. We'll see how Michael gets on this lap, and then we'll move ourselves a bit further down the grid. So Ben's time, I mean, that wasn't a half decent, wasn't a half bad lap, I should say, and that's only good enough for 12th at the moment. Again, showing the pace that we have in this tier. Mr. Traction Dave, good evening. How are you doing, big guy? Hope you're well, mate. Obviously, I'm missing you in this race tonight. I've got nothing to watch afterwards now. I've got no faces to look at. I've got no expressions. I don't know. But yeah, no doubt supporting Mr. Michael. As you should, mate, as you should. So Rob is in 13th. Shez is 14th. Marty's 15th. Kino's down in 16th. Drifter's in 17th. And then we've got Hutch and Kaga. I mean, look, again, the names. You know, it's bonkers. So into the Schumacher S as we go. You saw just a tiny lift there, as I said when we did our lap guide. Let's see if he can hook up this curve on the left into second, take it in. Yep, take enough speed through that. It was beautiful. On the power nice and early. Pause. There's the kink. There you go. I shouldn't be telling you guys all these extra tips and tricks really, but there you go. Just enjoying a chilled evening for a change. Yeah, well, why not? You can keep me company, Traction, as long as you're nice. Right, NGK Chicanes was giving Michael a lot of problems earlier on today, although when I say a lot of problems, he was probably just finding where the limit was in terms of how much curb he could take, or, you know, how he could change that turning, see how much of a straight line he could get. Right, is he going to take back pole position? There's your answer. 400ths. He does take back pole position. Over to you, Ollie. Brilliant. The Dazzer's in. Hello, Dazzer Snipes. How you doing? Welcome to the live chat. Hope you're well, mate. Anyone in particular you want to follow this evening? You can give them a shout out. It's all good. Right, we'll get off Michael because he's in first place and that's really boring. Right, where's Ollie? Right, well, Ollie's got traffic in front of him as well. That's not going to help him. We've got just under 4 minutes left of this 15-minute qualifying session. Remember, this is round 3. It's the first of our 3 special events during this 10-race season, so it's a 90-minute race rather than the usual 1 hour. So these boys, they are going to be sweating at the end of this. Without a doubt, the pace they're going to need, they are going to be sweating. I'm sure some of our more mature drivers, mentioning no names, which I won't do, might probably have a defibrillator on standby or something like that, just in case. And obviously if that does happen tonight, I will quit doing this because that's not very nice. Right, let's have a look. Oh, Artie's in the pits. Get out of the pits, dude. Right, Kaga, Ash, Hutch. Let's see what Hutch is up to. Now, Hutch in his 22 Bentley. Last night, I mean, I know he loves his Bentley. Last night he was driving an Audi GT4, and he loves the Bentley that much that his Bentley was, well, his Audi was really attracted to your Volton's Bentley quite a lot, if you see what I mean. Yeah, you didn't recognise them at the end. They pretty much swapped all of their paintwork, as Hutch is obviously listening to the stream and is now under pressure. Go Hutch, go! Coffee time. Fabulous, Dazza. Well, that is even better. You can sit right now, Dazza. I don't know what your pace is. Yeah, obviously. So Dazza's new to the league, so he's having a watch this evening to see, you know, see how it goes, see what the pace is like, see what the drivers are like. Dazza, you could be getting spoken about next time. Yes, get involved, buddy. It's all good, and it's actually a very good way to actually see what the league is like. Obviously, you can go back and look at the other bits on my channel. I do the comms for these guys 3 times a week. There's so much going on. Yeah, you should definitely be getting involved. So this is highly competitive, this tier, and I mean highly competitive. You'll see that. I mean, we'll look at the lap times again now. So Michael's still holding that pole position. Where is Hutch? Come on, Hutch. He's in 20th at the moment. Not being biased because he's an admin, but you know, we don't just want to sit on the top guys all evening, do we? So Benny's still in 3rd place. We've got a minute and 15 odd left, so it doesn't look like he's coming back out. He's happy with that. Jetpack is 4th. Cool's got himself up to 5th. So the top 5 are all separated by 2/10, which is impressive. Then we've got GT Jamie, who's 6/10 down. Crazies is just behind him, also 6,000ths behind him. Rd3 and AMS, they're also very close together. Dakuno's in the top 10. Bruce is 11th. Marty's currently 12th. Shez, Ponyfeeder, Milden. I mean, how the hell is Ben in 15th? I have no idea. Shigs, Venom. Remember, Venom was 2nd last night. TK Drifter again. You know what? Put it this way. Dazza, don't listen to Traction. You know, it'll be no do. Traction's a great guy, although he has just binned off the Taco Tuesday Championship and left his teammate, needing another teammate. By the way, Dazza, his teammate's Michael Races and he wins all the championships, so get him as your teammate. Yeah, and Traction's just chilling now. He just logs onto a PC every now and then, basically. Yes, you are always nice. You are. Right, so qualifying is about to end. Does Hutch improve on that? No, but he'll get another go. So, Ollie. Wow. Ollie has taken provisional pole position now. These two are both still on a lap. So, I'm going to be very interested to see how this one pans out. Michael's further up the track. So, no, he's not. Ollie is. Michael's not far behind him, is he? So, right, let's stay on board with Ollie first then. Let's see what Ollie's going to do on his final run, and then we'll have a look at Michael and see if he can pip him to pole position. Do you like that? Pip to pole, whatever. Yes, the quali battle is intense. Try talking about it, Traction. I think I'm going to run out of words after tonight, from last night and this evening and Friday. Just run my pace as average but super safe, so mostly end up over finishing by default. And that, my friend, is I think what everybody does within FRL as their starting point. As we come up to the NGK chicane, we certainly threw her in there. Ooh, and held on nicely. You could see he's really fighting with her there. Michael's not too far behind yet. Definitely does that. Everyone starts like that, mate, and that's how you should. Safety first. Good racecraft. The pace will always come. Oh, Michael Pitts. Oh, Dazza, you're very lucky. You can see there's a car just next to me there, the 101. It is actually a Porsche this evening. It's always been a Ferrari for 6 months, but I thought I'd change it up tonight. That's my car. So yeah, you're welcome. Qualifying is finished. That was a good session. Let's run through the order. So congratulations to Ollie Racing, takes pole position with a 1:54.330. Michael Races joins him on the front row, only 300ths behind. Then Ben's starting in 3rd place, 2.5 tenths behind. Jetpackers next to him. So we've got an all Audi 2nd row. They're separated by next to nothing. Then we've got an all Ferrari 3rd row. Cool is in 5th place and GT Jamie is 6th. Crazies is going to start 7th. AMS will be 8th alongside him. Then we've got Rd3 and Dakuno. Those two make up the top 10. Bruce is going to start 11th, just over a second off the pace. Marty Road Racing 12th again. Nothing much between any of these guys, as you can see. Shez is 13th. Ponyfeeder's 14th. Ben Milden, our new FRL champ from yesterday's Mixed Monday series, is 15th. Shigs is 16th. TK Drifter 17th at the moment. Hope you are all looking at these splits because it's literally thousands and hundreds between them. Venom is 18th. Kino's 19th. Hutch is going to start 20th. Kagatako's 21st. Ash is going to be 22nd. And then we've got Palermoj 23rd. Steph 24th. And Dawes is going to be 25th. And all gas, no brakes. What a great name. What a great name. Dave says, setting no records, but I thought, yeah, exactly. That's what you need to do, mate. That's what you need to do. Can't wait for the update so we can have, yeah, me too. I cannot wait. Honestly, the first couple of weeks when the last update happened, everyone was like, oh, it'll be alright, Coops, they'll fix it soon. Just get on board with it. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm used to it now because this is all I've got on the PS5 for the multiple times I do it. But it would be lovely, wouldn't it, to show different camera angles, to show how things are developing in front, behind. But there we go. We'll get there. We will get there, mate. And Traction says, lap 1 on PC was a mess last time. It was. And I don't know what Kino's doing in 19th place, to be quite honest. And if anyone is wondering what happened on lap 1 on the PC, 2 things you can do. One is go back and watch my stream of it, which I did on Friday. And two, I'll tell you what happened really. Everyone thought they were really great, as usual. And a lot of really fast drivers on PC, as you can imagine. And someone got a little bit offline, took a little bit of grass, not much, enough to imbalance the car, ended up in a bit of a slow slide. Down into T1, it's downhill, everyone's fully fueled, we know what's going to happen there. It wasn't a total catastrophe in terms of that contact, but the knock-on effect when you then had 40 drivers all piling in at the same time, it definitely affected some people. You can have the other interior. Yes, I can have the other cameras. Yeah, but I don't like them, if I'm honest. So I just stick on board as we are now, mate. You'll see. You'll get all the information. No problem. Okay, so we are in the wait time, just over 2.5 minutes. Everyone's now legging it to the toilet. 100% guarantee that. And yeah, we're going to get this 90-minute race underway, which I'm really looking forward to. I just hope, again, we're in this tier 1. We know the pace is ridiculously fast, and we know everybody is a good, safe driver. We know that. We all race together a lot. But lots of fuel on board. Tyres not in the right window. Egos, maybe? I know this is round 3, but people are now going to want to start making moves. Yeah, if they want to start challenging at the top, or the guys at the top are going to want to start stretching that lead. So there's a lot to play for. Right, I'm just going to put it out there. Whilst I've done that, it's reminded me, if anybody decides this evening that they like what's going on, and anyone watches me on a Friday for hours, and a Monday for hours, and a Tuesday for hours, and usually a Thursday for hours, doing this for you guys, and would like to sort of show some appreciation, I have set up a small donations page. It is www.buymeacoffee.com/comms by Coops. There's always a link on the website, on the YouTube channel. Tiny little donations, one-offs, yeah? So don't be shy. Yeah, I agree, Daz. I totally agree. So 1 minute left on that one. Just quickly, I'll let you know what's happening, this seismic shift within FRL. I know we've got a team championship running here because you've got 2 teammates that run together. We've now got overarching teams, which is really interesting. So essentially, we've got 6 or 7 teams, and all our drivers are picking who they want to go and be in a team with. And those teams will be represented across all of our championships. Yeah. So, for instance, you might have 2 drivers in one and 2 drivers in another. Everyone's going to have the same livery. And as I said earlier on about the old Milden SBR, Kagatako's SBR, they're both going to be running the same livery. So that's a team. So SBR Racing. We've got Red King Motorsport. We got this. There's loads of them out there. So that is really interesting because it will allow to have your normal races with your teams, but then you will be all accumulating points for your parent team, if you like, which can then obviously be looked at later on or determine sort of who is the best team within FRL, and that is creating a big buzz at the moment. And I was thinking earlier on today, if that works really well, and we get that sorted on console, as I said, which we will. We've been talking about it for a long time, and we all police ourselves nicely, and everyone's got the right attitude. There's no reason why we can't pull that over to our FRL PC side, and you could then end up having like an all-stars team like Jardier and co versus the FRL team, and obviously we will kick some butt, no doubt about that. Well, very interesting traction. Where's Coop's competition? Again, if you guys are new, for the first sort of 17 years I've been doing this commentary for FRL, I used to do a Coop's competition literally every time, which was great because I'd give out free setups to whoever won the competition, and it would be a good question. Traction will attest to this, yeah. But what Traction used to do is he would never race on certain nights, and he'd just pop into the live chat like he's doing right now, which I appreciate. And as soon as I let the question out, he'd be straight on Google. So it could be something really obscure, You know, like one of the tacos nights, I asked where was the original taco, you know, where did it come from, and or what was it called, and obviously his Google was pretty alive to that, and every week he'd pop in with the answer, and it would ruin it. It became a joke, actually. So that's why it's not their traction. Yeah, that's your fault. Okay. Right, warm-up lap underway. Optimum track, which is great to know. 17 degrees ambient, 22 on track. So again, the air is cool enough to allow these guys to, you know, really take advantage of their horsepower. The track is cool enough for those tyres to be sticky, but not too hot for them to absolutely overheat. So we've got very good conditions right now for some very fast lap times. I can blame you, and that is why you're banned. That is correct. Yes, Dazza, the competition was ages ago, mate. I appreciate it, but there's no prize. It's not on tonight. Maybe next week. If there's enough interest, yeah, if enough people want me to bring COMMS competition back, I shall do so. I shall do so. And Dazza, this one is for you, mate. If you're always looking at all the different cars and thinking which one do you want to have a look at, have a look on my channel. There's a new thing on there called COMMS Cars. I run through each individual GT3 car and give a rundown on them. Pros, cons, personal views, top tracks, all that sort of stuff. It's all good. Anyway, you two chat amongst yourselves for a minute. We're going to watch the start of this race. We're on board with Jetpacker at the moment, so we can see Ollie and Michael just playing the game, just making sure they're not running off too far. Back in the pack up. I hope you're all comfy. We've got 90 minutes on this one. Who doesn't want it to return? You'd be mad not to. Well, yeah, I know, but I don't get anything from it, do I? I have to think of questions. Right, anyway, on to the start finish straight. 90 minutes, Formula Racing League round 3 of Taco Tuesdays Tier 1, and we have a green light, so we're off on the start finish straight. Jetpacker's got a great start there. You can see he's gaining massively on Ollie. Michael goes defensive, covers off that inside line. So let's see, are we on the brakes nicely? We are on the brakes nicely. Jetpacker going to get round the outside. Who knows? Ben Gallagher has lost a place there, because Jetpacker had a fantastic start and Michael manages to get himself into the lead. Jetpacker goes second place. So Ollie probably being a little bit cautious, and there's nothing wrong with that. As I said, you can't win it in T1. Let's go a bit further down the grid. Any contact happening down there on Dokunos, who's around about 10th. Everyone seems to be filing through there okay. Oh, there's a little bit. We're on board with Steph there. There was a little bit of door robbing going on there. And we're on board with Ash at the moment, so he's got a Ferrari all over the back of him. Right, we're not going to manage to get through there. 3-4 wide, ladies and gents. So, Ollie started on pole position, finds himself in third place. Maybe a slightly overcautious start there, but again, it's not a problem. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Traction. Right, so the computer's now sorted itself out. So Michael's up top, as you can see. He is leading the pack at the moment, and well, leading the pack. Jetpacker, yep. So the pack is second place. Ollie's running third. These they're all not getting away from each other, though, are they? Ben is in. Well, I'd say Ben's in fifth place because that's GT Jamie. So GT Jamie's made a move on Ben there. He's got himself up to fourth, but you can clearly see Ben's carrying a lot of pace through there. Let's not touch into there, ladies and gents, which they don't. They all managed to get through there safely again, and Cool is just sitting behind them in sixth place, probably just keeping a close eye. As you can see, there is not much between any of these. So last night, unfortunately, we had about 4 or 5 people all disconnect at exactly the same time, so evidently a server issue rather than people's Tinterweb. But let's hope that doesn't happen this evening, because again, look at some of these names we're talking about here. AMS is in 7th, Dokuno is in 8th, all over the back of AMS at the moment as they go through T1. Rob2K is 9th, Crazy's is 10th, then we've got, so Ben's got himself up to 11th, so that's good, he's had a good start. Marty's in 12th. Again, you know, anyone watching this will look at it and will just be thinking to themselves, oh yeah, look, there's some people driving Look, they're all in a line. Look at that. I mean, how easy is that? Well, let me correct you. This is ridiculously difficult. You know, Palermo is 20th, Shiggs is 21st. Ash finds himself down in 22nd at the moment. I'm sure he's hoping his little bit of wisdom, his little idea that he came up with earlier on today is going to come to fruition later on, you never know. And Dawes is 24th at the moment, ahead of Venom, so maybe there was an issue there with those two, and I'm 26th. I have been lobbying, actually, I think I should get points. I'm sure everybody in the live chat agrees I should actually get points, because technically, I mean, I'm in, aren't I? I know I don't start or finish the race, but wouldn't hurt, you know. I don't get anywhere in the FRL Hall of Fame, do I? No, because I'm always doing this. No, you don't, Daz. You don't, and there's a reason for that. Very, very rarely you see one. Actually, to be fair, in the Mixed Mondays and the GT3 class, we had a couple of chaps in a Lambo, but no, it doesn't seem to be the car of choice. And when you see the kind of pace and consistency that everyone runs at, it's probably difficult to argue that. So unless you're a Lambo expert, which would be fantastic, you never know. Okay, into T1 again. So Jetpacker and Michael, nothing between those two. Ollie's keeping a watching brief on them. GT Jamie is still in 4th at the moment. Ben is holding station in 5th place. Cooley's still holding on there. He's not going anywhere. I hope his knee holds up tonight, because he had a really good race last week until his knee gave way on him. So the top 6, they are broken away. AMS is in 7th place at the moment, 1.8 seconds down. So we do have a breakaway pack, which is interesting. Dokuno, he's a bit further back. Rd3 is only half a second behind Dokuno, so he's definitely keeping in touch with him. Crazies has got himself into the top 10, and him and Rob, well, those two have had a few dices over the seasons, and not in a bad way, in a very good way, so that looks like that's about to be rekindled. Ben, he's just doing what he needs to do at the moment. This race is most definitely not a sprint, so everyone's got to be patient and see what their fuel strap is going to do. Keno gets himself up to 15th. I'm sure he'll be happy with that, but he's 1.5 off that second group, so you've got two groups clearly there, and then we've got Keno, Kagatakos, and Hutch is a bit further back, a couple of seconds back as well. So we get on board with Kagatakos. He's in the Ferrari, number 88 Ferrari. He's chasing down Keno in the 177 Ferrari. There's only sort of 3.5 tenths between these two, so we'll see what that does. We'll just check the gaps up front, as we can see all the way up the hill on the back straight. We can see if anything happens there. Someone just stuck the nose out into the chicane. So Ben's only 3.5 tenths back there as well, so that's a close battle. Crazies is only 1.5 tenths behind Rob, so that at the moment is your closest battle on track. Shiggs is also only 3 tenths behind Palermo. He was only 2.5 tenths behind Steph, so we've got a three-way battle there. Let's just see this one through T1. Touchwood, we've had a very clean race at the moment, as Ben, you saw Ben dive down the outside there. He's got a switcheroo on the go, so he's hoping that Crazies is too busy concentrating on what Rd3 is doing. Rob's probably too busy thinking about Crazies and trying to defend, and that is hopefully going to give Ben an opportunity to spot a gap, put on a bit of pressure and make a move. So nice three-way battle there. Oh, Rd3 got a nice bit of oversteer there, and Crazy probably had to back out the throttle for a moment, which he has done. That's allowed Ben up the inside line. Ben kept himself up the inside there, which you saw caused Crazies to push wide, but he kept hold of the car. That put Crazies out for that corner, hence why he took too much curve. So again, you're seeing the racecraft that's going on at the moment. Everybody is trying to put the other one off, just using those racing lines, see if they can make a difference. No change at the front. Michael is still leading Jetpacker. That's now nearly 7 tenths. Ollie's only 8.5 tenths behind. Then we've got Ben, Cool and AMS, and GT Jamie. Well, there has been a change there, because it was the top 6, and then we had a gap back, so that's now a top 7. That's good. That's good for us. As we're watching Ben try, whoa, Rob was too early on the throttle there coming through. You saw he got a massive step of oversteer, which, you know, he had to control that, which he did, but that obviously put him off the track. Oh, and Rob's getting eaten up at the moment. So Rob TK's dropped down from 9th to 12th at the moment. He's trying to get that one back. He's going to get late on the brakes, try and put a move up the inside of Mighty Road Racing, who is also in the SBR team, I do believe, hence the colours on that car. Again, if we had external cameras, it would look fantastic, because you're going to see lots of liveries, so you're going to know who the drivers are actually, you know, what umbrella they're under at the moment. Pony Feeder in 13th place, he looks like he's got, so I believe that Rob and Marty touched there into the braking zone for T1, and obviously that caused an incident. Upshot of that, Pony Feeder goes through, and Rob's lost another couple of places, so Rob's got a lot of work to do. On the bright side, he's got 1 hour 21 minutes and 31 seconds to do it. Traction says, Traction and Daz having a good chat about the Lambo. Good. No, it's not on console, Dazza. No, they won't. No, definitely not. We don't, you know, the console side of things, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. The PS5 version is on a complete other level to the PS4 side of things. But no, we don't have all of those little treats, really. Like on the PC, you know, we've got a lot of stuff we can use on the COMMS side, lots of additional software packages that you can run, which are absolutely stunning, and obviously you can run different overlays through OBS and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I know you can stream from a console through OBS, but, you know, capture cards and all those extra bits, is it really worth it? Anyway, let's go back to the front as we go through the MG. Oh, I was just going to say, Ollie looks pretty racy there. Jetpacker is obviously feeling that pressure. He got out of shape, took too much of that curve, which you really need to avoid through there, and that obviously bumped up the Audi in the air, and that has allowed Ollie in his very stable BMAT to get through. So he is now going to put a chase on towards Michael, going into T1. Ollie's gone defensive, as you would expect. Jetpacker was trying to get a slipstream there. Is he going to go for a switcheroo? That's not going to happen from there. Ollie's going to place that car nicely in the middle of the track, so he's just owning the apex, if you like, and Jetpacker is now going to have to fight to get that position back. So nicely developing up there. And who else have we got there? Ben Gallagher. Well, he wants to take advantage as well, doesn't he? So Ben, again, we know Ben's got good speed in his Audi. He puts a move on Jetpacker, so in the space of 2 or 3 corners, Jetpacker goes from second down to 4th, which is unfortunate. Cool is on the back of these guys as well in the Ferrari, so, you know, things are starting to get a bit racy now. You could have incidents anyway. We'll stick on Cool at the moment. I also believe Cool is part of the SBR stable, as is AMS. So again, look at some of these names. Big names. Big names, great drivers. And obviously, even though I am with Red King Motorsport as the comms guy at the moment, I'm totally impartial, yeah? They're all brilliant. Everyone's as good as each other. And you can't see my face this evening, so you don't know what I'm doing right now. Well, that's all good. So GT Jamie's in 7th place. Dokuno's got himself up to 8th. I say that every week. He always seems to find a way to creep up inside that top 10. Crazy's is 9th, and Milden has got himself up into 10th place. So he shall definitely be happy with that. Jetpacker, Ben Gallagher is the closest battle in this little gaggle at the front. And Cool, you can see he has closed up on them, so maybe his strategy is just be consistent, just keep the times going in, creep up on the back of them, and then pounce whenever he can. So 6 watching at the moment, which is good to know. I was sold out earlier on, actually. I mean, Sky wanted to put it on box office. I said, don't be silly, we don't want to do that. We want to give this to our fans and the public for free, which we do. Well, I'll tell you where my beautiful face is, Mr. Traction Dave. I did say last night on the live stream that I didn't have the camera on because I'd had a little bit too much merriment over the weekend and therefore looked rather disgusting, which is actually exactly what I said. And this evening, well, I haven't actually turned it on, to be quite honest with you. That's not exactly what it is, as Crazies gets all over the back of Dokuno in his Ferrari, so he looks nicely placed there. If he can get just along the inside, he could look to do a braking manoeuvre into the hairpin, but no. And again, Daz, you're watching this. If that had been in other leagues, potentially, I'm not going to name names because I don't know 100%, or in public lobbies, that person who was driving Crazy's car would have been straight up the inside of Dokuno and there would have been a crash. There is no doubt about it. No doubt about it. We haven't seen any instance of note yet. We're 13, 14 minutes into the race, and that is probably as it will be for the entire race. So, wow, okay, oh, we got a battle into the chicane. This could end badly. For again, safe, very, very good racecraft from these two. So Ben's starting to stretch his legs now. He's now just made a move on Ollie, and you can see down at the bottom in Ollie's mirror, Jetpack out early, hasn't given up that fight, but cool, he's still there as well. So these guys are really battling. We know what that means, don't we? I say it every single time. Whilst all this lot are squabbling, what's happening? Mr. Michael Races is managing to eke out that lead. It's now over 2 seconds, so little bit by little bit he's increasing that lead. So Crazy's again still very, very close to Dokuno, 8th and 9th. Let me just go a little bit further down. So Bruges is running in 12th. That's definitely less than 6/10. So Bruges is in 12th, Ponyfield is 11th, so that could develop quite nicely. That's Ferrari versus the Beamer. Could be interesting. Marty's 13th, Kagatako's 14th, Kino is down in 15th currently, and then Rob 2K, as we saw earlier on, he had a massive issue with oversteer and lost a bucket load of places, finds himself 16th, Hutchie's 17th, Steph is 18th currently, Palermo's 19th, 6/10 behind Steph, Shez is 20th, Shigs is in 21st in the pits. Interesting. Lord Ash Wilson, our man Ash of the 444 Beamer, is 22nd. Dawes, who's rejoining this evening from having a bit of a sabbatical forced by PlayStation for the last few weeks, he's back with us. Drifter's in 24th. Wow. Has completed a pit stop though. Venom is 25th, has completed a pit stop. So those boys, their strategy is coming into play. I'm pretty sure they wanted to get out of some dirty air, to be fair. Yeah, we do indeed. So anyway, my face, as I was saying to Traction, so yeah, the real reason is the FRL uniform, which I am contracted to wear, yeah, as you will all have seen. I'm waiting for a new one, and I thought it was going to be here, but it's not. So I didn't have the old one ready, and quite simply, that, I'm not going to come and put the face on when I don't have the FRL merch and all the stuff in the background to promote the league. So that's why the face isn't on there, Dave. And in terms of PC, mate, I don't know, should I put it on PC? Should I? I mean, I've never seen any commentary on PC where you've got the comms guy on the screen, so I don't know. I'm debating that one, to be honest with you, mate. I know Michael said he thinks it would be a good idea as well, but I don't know. Anyway, so Michael's up top. That gap has now shortened. It's now 1.725 seconds. So Ben is evidently has good pace. His tyres are obviously in a good spot as well. So those two are going at it. And Jetpacker, well, he just wants that place back from Ollie, doesn't he? Let's be honest. He's not happy that he lost that earlier on. So those two are having their battle still. And that's obviously, look, you can see Ben has pulled a second, just over a second, back to Ollie as well. So Ben is evidently quick. Very quick. Very interesting. So Amzi's 6th, GT Jamie 7th, Dokuno is still in 8th. He's only 7 and a bit tenths behind, and then Crazy's still keeping him honest. And on Milden, he's come to join the party as well. So look at that, we've got 4 in a row. That's what we love to see. One tiny mistake, as we saw with Rob earlier on in the Beamer, one teeny tiny mistake, and you will be punished. You will be punished. Why the mandatory pit? We've got 2, mate. 2 mandatory stops for this one because it's 90 minutes. So, people have their choice on what they want to do. Tyres are optional, actually, but I can't see anyone wanting to run an hour and a half on one set of tyres, although some of the chaps are very good on their tyres, may get away with running a really, really long... Oh, and who was that? Was that Crazies? It was Crazies, again, coming out of the chicane there. probably got on the throttle a tad too early, but at the same time was taking too much of that curb, which, as we say, I know the Beamer's not too bad on curbs, but he's paid the price for that one. Drops down to 10th, so Ben is up to 11th now. He'll be happy with that. Dokuno's starting to put some pressure onto GT Jamie, and Ben Gallagher, as you see at the top of the screen there, is now under a second behind Michael. So if Michael didn't think he was going to have a big challenge this evening, he does, although I'm sure he's smart enough to be thinking about maybe he's in a bit of a tyre preservation mode. Who knows, maybe this is just outright pace, we'll see. And then Ollie's still just under a second. Impressive stuff at the moment, Ben. 7 watching, good evening. If you're just joining us, pop a like on, say hi in the chat. Don't be shy, we've got a long race ahead of us this evening, so get involved. Unless it's all you guys that are driving that are watching, which is still great, you need to press like. So just take your hand off the wheel for a moment. Not through the Schumacher S's, that would be a bit, well, a bit death wishy, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. I can feel a move coming, a little flash going on as well now, so he's really trying to put that pressure on. How late on the brakes was he there? So what's Michael going to do now? Michael doesn't get challenged very often, and that's not me saying, well, Michael's God, but generally speaking, he isn't challenged that often, yeah. He's very quick and he's very clean, and he normally manages to build a gap, as we saw he was doing earlier on. And I think a lot of the strategy within this particular tier is, right, let's hope all the other guys behind who are extremely fast hold each other up, so I can just nip away a little bit. But Ben's broken that mould. It's only 3 tenths, but look, Ollie's only under a second behind. Jetpacker's 8 tenths. Cooley 7 tenths. How much is it? Oh, Ams is 4 seconds down. So that top 5, they're still, you know, any mistake from them, and they're going to get swallowed up completely as we go into T1. Ben gets really, really close onto the back of Michael there. He's looking at that number 1, thinking, I want that number 1. Which is awesome racing so far. Dokuno is still only 6.5 tenths behind GT Jamie, so those two are having a really nice scrap at the moment. Ben's got himself up to 9th place, Milden, 1.2 seconds down. Then we've got Crazies who made that mistake. Flash, flash, flash. I don't think you need to flash him really. I'm sure he knows you're there, Ben. Bruges is 11th, Marty's in 12th, Ponyfeeder is 13th, Kino's 14th, Kagatako's 15th, as we watch the top 2 in their little sprint down towards the hairpin. I'm not going to have a move there. That would be foolish, I would suggest. So we've got 2 cars here which are both well, they don't behave really, do they? Let's be honest. They're both they're both quick, they're both slippery, they're both quite area dependent, pitch sensitive. They will try and kill you, and Michael's indicating left. I'm sure that doesn't mean he's getting out of the way. I'm sure that was just an accidental press there. We're under 2 tenths. Fantastic racing by these guys. So Ollie's still holding 3rd, Jetpacker's 4th, Cooley's still 5th, and then you've got a nice gap back towards Ams. Ams has put a gap on GT Jamie. Dokuno's dropped off, that was like 6-7 tenths, it's now 1.1 seconds. Milden's now only 8 tenths behind him as these two come round to start another lap. So no sign of any adverse weather currently, which is maybe good, maybe not so good. I was hoping for just a massive thunderstorm, to be fair. Everyone crash in the first corner, no one be able to repair their car, and then I could have had quite an easy night, but no. Oh, Michael goes a tad wide there. You see she was sliding, that McLaren was sliding, so they've just swapped over into T1. A couple of switcheroos going on there, so they're now both playing their games, trying to figure out where the other one is strong and where the other one is weak. They can figure out what advantage each of his car has got, and then obviously they've got to compute that pretty quickly and try and do the opposite. Try and force that gap, as the guys behind, we've only got half a second there, so everything's getting pretty close. Maybe Michael's holding everybody up at the moment, just saving his tyres. I don't know. Traction. I need to know what's going on as we go into the hairpin. Ben's overcooked that though, and look at that, Ollie's going to get on the power earlier. He does. Ben's going to have to go defensive into the Schumacher S's, but he manages to get the drive out of there. So It looks like he's got that setup nailed. Traction was beautiful out of there, to be fair. Jetpacker is still just there, as is cool. We've got some great racing going on here. So Milden 6/10 off. Yeah, Ben's dropped off a little bit now. So Ben's dropped off slightly because of that mistake. That's let him fall into the clutches of Ollie. But again, you can see he's pulling away, so he's just getting back on with it. No messing about as we go into the chicane. Everyone's following each other through. It does. I mean, they look like they're on rails, don't they? Let's be honest. Ooh, Mr. Cool. So, I did say a few laps ago, it looked like his strategy was just to keep things quick and clean and slowly get onto the back of these guys and start nibbling at them. That's evidently happened because Jetpacker's had to go defensive there. So he is evidently very, very well aware that Cool is there and is posing a threat at the moment. Michael's got himself an 8.5 tenth lead now, and you've got Ben, Ollie, Jetpacker and Cool. The four that we're watching at the moment, this quintet, I mean, they are going for it, no doubt about that. Jetpacker, I thought was going to stick a cheeky move up there, but that would have ended with, with catastrophe, no doubt. And behind them, so Ams is 5 and a bit seconds further back. He's got a good lead over him. Oh, and Ben's only a 10th and a half. Oh, a 10th and a half behind Dokuno. I really want to have a look at that, but we've got the top 5 here who are all, wow, you can see they're right there. Ollie and Ben need to work together. Yeah, they do, mate. They do, but will they? That's the question. Wow. So Ben's pulled up. Ben's got a lot of pace. I'm really impressed with his pace. I mean, you know, even with that mistake, he dropped back. But again, within a lap, he's pulled away from Ollie, which, I mean, considering Ollie was quickest in free practice and Ollie was on pole, that is no mean feat. But Ben, he's on it. He is. Look at him, all over the back of Michael as we come down the back straight. He's got up the inside, so he's going to be able to take that line. Michael's got to hope that he can keep that McLaren. No, he can't. He can't. He backs out, which was the right thing to do. So Ben Gallagher makes the move, and he puts himself up into first place at the moment. A little bit of additional curbage there, maybe a little bit of grass, but hey, he's not going to complain about that. Let's see what the true pace is now on what Ben can do out up front. He's already pulled over half a second. Now Michael's under pressure from Ollie, so it might have been that Michael's holding these guys on. We're going to tell probably in about a lap's time, I think. Jetpacker and Ollie, guys, don't fight each other. Just get on with the task at hand. Stop fighting each other's. I don't think Michael's McLaren's that happy, really. And Cool, yeah, he's not going anywhere either. So further down the track, Ben's managed to put that move on Dokuno in the end. So Ben's brought himself up to 7th, which is very, very good from him at the moment. I think he's gone from 15th to 7th in this race. So showing that, again, Ben is, Mr. Milden, very consistent driver. You don't see him make a mistake often, and he always carries good pace in that Bentley, so he'll be happy with up to 7th. Dokuno will still be happy in 8th. Then we've got Crazies in 9th, but now Crazies is not far off the back of Dokuno, so maybe he's losing a bit of pace there because he's lost 5 seconds to Ben. As you can see, Jetpacker again looking extremely racy all over the back of Ollie as we go through the Schumacher S's once more. Ollie really wants to try and close that gap down to Michael, and Ben has pulled a second on him at the moment, so Michael's going to have to work for this one unless Michael decided he was going to start this on an absolute brimming tank of fuel and he's just, you know, he's thinking about the long game. It's not a sprint, this race, as we know. It's crazy, as you can see, there's only half a second behind Dokuno. Oh, and again, Crazy's a little bit too much curb. Those curves are going to be the undoing of him. And I was going to say that could have given GT Jamie a sniff, but he's a little bit too far behind at the moment. But he'll take a positivity out of seeing that happen with Crazies and feel that if he can get onto the back of him, maybe he can pressure him into doing something similar a little bit further on in the race. There's your top 10. Bruce is 11th. Let's go back up there. Jetpacker's only 2 tenths there. So Jetpacker and Ollie, or Jetpacker goes deep, Ollie goes defensive, holds the inside line into turn 1. Jetpacker then tries to pull a switcheroo on him. That's not going to happen, and we find ourselves status quo again. These two just literally fighting for exactly the same line. They're just they're not parking on the apexes obviously, but they're owning those apexes, and they're just not giving an inch, which I'm sure everybody watching, you agree, is fantastic. Daz says, has anyone pitted yet? Daz, if you have a look down the screen, obviously they're a bit further down there, but you'll see everyone's got a gold 2. Anyone with a 1, they have completed a pit stop, so they will come into it a little bit later on. Other people will have different strategies. For instance, Marty's pitted, as has Drifter, and I know those two are extremely good on their tyres. Who was that who's just gone off up the front there? Is that Ollie? No, it's not Ollie. Was it? No. Who went off? Oops. Oopsie. So Cool is definitely going to have a run on Jetpacker now. So it was Ollie, I think, who had his little off there. Managed to keep it together though, and he's in the race still. Jetpacker goes defensive. As you can see, Cool is all over the back of him. So these top 5, they're experiencing a lot of different emotions right now. They've all experienced the hunter, and they've all experienced the hunted. I'm sure Mr. Ben Gallagher is just pretty happy, really. Pretty happy indeed, as we're coming up to some back markers. So that shows you the pace that these guys have got, although take into account people have pitted. So I think we've got, so Shigs is in front, and then we've got Ash. Rob finds himself down in 25th, but has completed a pit stop. The odd one out of that rear pack, if you like, is Dawes, who is 22nd and has not done his first stop as yet. So Ben's got a 1.6 second lead into T1, and then Michael, he's got himself a 1.3 second gap back to Ollie. Jetpacker again. I don't need to say much more about these two. Oh yeah, you couldn't see the bottom, no worries mate. And Cool is only a 10th and a bit behind as well, so I don't have Jetpacker. See, now one thing, do you know what, I will make an observation here, because I do wonder who will pull the trigger first in the lead pack. I think Jetpacker will, because my observation of Jetpacker over the last multiple weeks and months of doing this is, although his pace is always phenomenal, he always, it's not always 100%, I'd say a 90% of the time when I'm watching and commentating on these guys, he does fall away towards the end of a race, and it's usually a tyre issue. He's usually driven the absolute wheels off whatever car he's in, and then struggles with his tyres at the end. So that's my prediction on that. We will see though. We will see. He might be stubborn and listen to the stream and think, no way, Coops. Right, Crazy and Dakuna about to get together again. GT Jamie still about 2 and 2.4 off, so that hasn't really come down any. Ponyfeeder's got himself up to 11th place, and his teammate Kino's not too far down the road in 12th. Kagatako's 13th, Palermo's 14th. Shez, as we can see at the moment, is in 15th place, and then Steph, who's not far behind. So we stick on this one now. Steph's only a couple of attempts behind Shez. This is for 15th and 16th place. Again, you know, anyone that's watching this that hasn't watched before, don't think because these guys are near the back of the grid that they're slow. They are not slow. It's just this tier is ridiculously fast. Yeah, they would be giving anyone a run for their money at the moment. Hutch is 17th, and then the guys behind have all done their pit stops. So Marty, Drifter, Bruges, Venom, Ash, Shigs, Rob, and Dawes is in the pits at the moment, so he's probably getting that stop done. So yeah, it's not that they're slow, they're not. Remember, we've got 2 tiers on the PS5, so tier 2, these guys would comfortably be battling at the front, if not well ahead at the front in tier 2, but tier 2's not slow either. We are very lucky, we're very blessed, we've got a lot of quick drivers, apart from Traction Dave, and that's why he's... Whoa, who's that? Who's gone into the pits? We're going to see in a minute. So that was Palermo decided to pit. So Benny's still leading. We're on board with Steph at the moment. He's 15th. He's looking to have a little battle with Shez into T1. Definitely showing his nose, and then some. And the top 5 are all still separated. It's now about just over a second between each, apart from Cool, who is 6 tenths behind Jetpacker. So they all seem now, maybe they're now, oh, there we go. So Crazies, that was good timing, Coops. Crazies in 9th, looks to be putting a move on Dokuno, who is in the 112 Ferrari. And I'll say this, I did it in the Coops car series, like the B-Man, the M4. She is just, I think, probably the most stable car in terms of straight out the bat on the game. She can seem quite boring, a bit lethargic, but bland is probably the better word to use. But she ticks all the boxes and she does go very well. Good beginner's car. Not that Crazy is a beginner, obviously. Oh no, I've just lost 58 subscribers. Oh no. Incidentally, if you haven't subscribed and you're watching, you know what to do. You know what to do. Make my evening. Jetpacker. Right. Dazza. What did I say? You asked for a prediction. What did I say? Jetpacker. There you go. Coops does watch. So Jetpacker is the first from the top 5. The first of them to blink coming to the pits. I did think there was a tyre issue there. He did seem to be getting a little bit leery, so good choice to get in and get some fresh rubber on as Crazies and Dokuno continue their scrap for 7th and 8th place, which is fantastic. GT Jamie has closed that gap down by about a second now. Crazies, that was nicely done. Placed that beamer well to get the cut back, but the Ferrari, she just had enough traction coming out of there just to keep her nose in front. So a nice duel happening between these two. Cool finds himself up into 4th place now, 8/10 further back, and then we've got Ams has risen up to 5th. Ben Milden is in 6th place. Again, obviously Jetpacker has pitted. He will no doubt be happy with that. Yep, that's right, does that. You see that a lot. Yeah, they're all looking at what their strats are. They're being held up. They're thinking, okay, this has been really nice. Yeah, it's been great having these battles, but in terms of, ooh, definitely look at the pace Crazy is able to carry through there. Now he's up the inside line. He's just got to modulate those brakes and get that thing turned in, which he just about does. However, Dokuno, yeah, has got no answer to that, and that'll be bye-bye, I feel. Unlucky Dokuno. Crazy manages to bring himself up to 7th place. Again, I'm talking about these names, you hear it every week. You look in the other championships, look on the website, formulaRacing.co.uk, have a look at the Hall of Fame. Now, there's some big hitters here, and Crazies makes a mistake. He's not enjoying that chicane, is he, though, in that Beamer? It's not the first time we've seen that one this evening. So, tip for Crazies, don't go off at the chicane. Here we go. So Ben is still out up front. He's now nearly got a 3-second lead over Michael. That's impressive. Ollie's still in 3rd place. Ams is 4th. Cool, he's decided to get in the pits. Okay, guys, I'm getting quite cross now. That's twice I've missed an opportunity to show you all my beautiful Porsche. We'll get there. Milden's in 6th. Crazy 7th. Dokuno is in 8th. Let's get off that camera, shall we? Well, Dokuno hasn't given up that battle yet with Crazy, so we'll stick on it for a moment. Jamie is in 9th place, so that gap has now increased back up to almost 3 seconds. Kino has managed to get himself into the top 10, which is good. You know, Kino, I talked to him quite a lot. He's a very level-headed guy. You know, doesn't need to be the one, you know, trying to smash it in 1st, 2nd and 3rd place all the time. Obviously, we'd love to do that, and does have the pace to do that. But he's sometimes a little more pragmatic. I think he definitely realises this is a long old race. Yeah, and he's just making. Remember, he started 19th. He's currently up into 10th place. Good drive from him so far. Kagatacos is in 11th. Shez 12th. Hutch is 13th. So look at Kaga. We haven't actually seen Kaga for a while, and nothing's going on with Kaga. So Kagatacos, there you go. Some airtime for you, my friend. Get involved in a battle. We'll have more. Hutch is in 13th. Mighty Road Racing 14th has pitted. Jetpacker 15th, remember from 4th, has pitted. Drifter's pitted in 15th. Then we've got Bruges. Well, let's have a look at that. So we've got Bruges in the number 18 BMW in a scrap with the number 511 Jag. And you'll notice that Jag is a very pretty pink. And who do we know within FRL who's all about the pink? Yes. No, not Dal. Gamer Dad, yeah, he's always got pink cars, and he's got himself a team, Triple X Motorsport, and everyone's got pink and black liveries. with a little bit of creative license, I think, for accents or something else. So yeah, that's who Drifter races for. Bruges in 17th, Ponyfeeders in 18th, has pitted. Venom's 19th, has pitted, and then we've got Palumoj in 20th, has pitted. Him and Steph are still having their battle. There's only a 10th between them, so we'll have a look at that in a minute if this doesn't develop into anything. Ash's 22nd has pitted. Rob2K's 23rd has pitted, only 7 tenths behind there as well. So we do have some decent battles going on. Shigs finds himself in 24th, and Dawes is in 25th at the moment. Oh, there's a mistake by Drifter on the power a bit too early, dragged him wide, and that's allowed Bruges, who had that inside line in the nice steady beamer. Again, there is a theme to this. He makes that move done as we get up into the chicane. So can Drifter pressurise him enough to get a mistake out of him? No, because Drifter says, you know what, there's only 51 minutes, 52 minutes left. I'm going to pit for my second stop. I did say earlier on that Drifter is very, very good on his tyres. Yeah, so he's thinking, well, the weather's looking okay. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Right, up top. No, hold on. Have we gone past already? No, we haven't. Well, you can't really see her now, but there's a beautiful black Porsche there. That's mine, and she is beautiful. Right, Benny's still up top. He's got a 3.5 second lead over Michael, so he's out of there at the moment. Ollie's in 3rd. None of the top 3 are pitted. Ams is 4th. Milden is in 5th place. Is Ben pitting? Yeah, Milden, he's going to pit. As you can see, they're all now starting to catch up and get involved with traffic. There's Ams in 4th place. Yeah, he's got some traffic in front of him as well. So all these things are going to start making a difference now. Crazy's, he decides to pit as well. So we've got just under 51 minutes left. The top boys are all starting to pit. Oh, hold on a minute. Look at that beautiful... Look at her. Stunning. What a beautiful livery. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Mr. Milden, for showcasing my beautiful Porsche there. So, Dokuno finds himself in 5th place. Well, Jamie's coming through the Mercedes arena as well. In the Ferrari. And then we've got a big gap back to Kagatako's, 17.5 seconds. Kino pits at the same time as well. So we do have, oh, beautiful Porsche there. We do have multiple people getting that first stop done as Crazy's completes that stop and then is on his way out. So it looks like he's managed to get out into some clean air as well. So that could pay dividends a little bit later on in the race. Excuse me, little coughing fit there. Kino's still in the pit. Shez is 11th. Hutch has got himself up to 12th. That's pretty good from him. And we've got making a mistake there. Was that Michael? No. Yeah, it was. Oh dear. Michael's trying to eke out those tyres, isn't he? Because he doesn't know what the weather's going to do either. He's probably thinking, look, make these ones last as long as possible. See if we think the weather's going to do anything, or at least put me in a position where I can do my first stop and know if I have to, I've still got one in the bank later on to do a quick stop. That's the only thing I can think of really. Or he's trying to eke these tyres out as long as possible, do one stop to change tyres and then do a very quick stop at the end for a tiny bit of fuel with no tyres. So that's got to save him quite a few seconds there as Ben, our race leader, comes in to complete his first stop. So he's the first one out of the top 3 to blink. Who's the 44? So that's Cool has pitted, and he just seemed to arrive in the pits there. So I'm sure Cool has just ported into the pits. Interesting. Interesting indeed. If anyone knows what's happened to Mr. Cool, let me know. Hopefully it's not his knee again. But we'll find out, won't we? And Kagas comes into the pits as well. So Ben just leaves the pit lane. First stop completed. Anyone else apart from Drifter? No. So only Drifter's done 2 stops at the moment. So your top 2 are pushing deep into this race, aren't they? So still both got to do 2 stops, 1.3 seconds between them. interesting. You're always going to have, in a race this long, you're always going to have a period, a bit of a lull, yeah, where everybody's going through now trying to sort out their strategies. We'll pick up Jetpacker in a minute as well. Trying to sort their strategies out, get the pit stops done, trying to think ahead, trying to second guess the weather, and you can end up having spells where, although everyone is still close, like Michael and Ollie are close, right? It's only 1.2 seconds. We know that's obviously a lot, but they seem close, so one mistake and you're going to pay for it. But this is a part of the race where people are now probably doing a bit of tyre preservation, maybe a bit of fuel saving as well. You don't know. No one should be carrying any problems because we haven't seen any incidents, which, can I just say to everybody watching, you know, this is a tier 1 race, a 90-minute race, and we haven't had any major incidents. Yeah, and we've got 47 minutes just under left to go, which I think just sums up what it's about over here, really. So Ben Gallagher, he has rejoined in 9th place, so he's got all of those guys in front of him. Whoa, interesting. Oh, he's a lap down though. I was going to say, interesting, Mr. Milden, well, that might be true actually. Mr. Milden is ahead of Ben Gallagher. So this is what I was saying earlier on. A lot of people are quite smart with their strategies. They get those stops done early, or one of them done early, so that they can get themselves back out into clean air. And again, yeah, it's great for us watching a 5-way battle that we had in the top 5, and they were all literally nose to tail. Brilliant, superb example, great racing from everybody. But they're all slowing each other up. Ben, yeah, obviously started down in 15th or something, got himself up, did an early stop, and has just ran in clean air. And he finds himself, when all this shakes out, Ben is, as you can see on track, ahead of the other Ben. Crazy. Is that right? Well, I was waiting for somebody to do that call. What's happened to you, mate? What's actually happened to you? So, Cool is having a chat with me in the live thing. So, he's saying that Milden didn't take tyres, but Gallagher did. So you'll probably find at the end of the race those two on their second pit stops. Oh, what was that, a Ferrari? Who was that out there? Kino, that looked like, I don't know who that was. Anyway, so that put me off my thought train for a moment there. So what you're probably going to find is at the end of this race, when Milden and Gallagher come in for their second stops, that they might reverse that role. So Milden will take some tyres. I can't see Ben doing an hour and a half's race on one set of tyres. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I know the guy can drive. I do know that, and I appreciate that skill level. If he's going to do a 90-minute race on one set of tyres, that would be some feat. So I expect those two to be close at the end, because they're going to do the same sort of thing. And Cooley got disconnected. Pain in the butt, mate. How's the knee though? Is the knee holding up? That's my question, buddy. But until that point, very impressed. Loads of airtime, really impressed again. Strong pace as usual. Milder was saying to me last night that he thinks that you're the one. Yeah, I know he's hoping for rain. I know he is hoping for rain. He was talking to me about it earlier on. But yeah. So Milder thinks you're the one, Sean. Knee felt fine. That is unfortunate, mate. That is really unfortunate. Next week though, buddy, or on Fridays or Thursdays, Mondays, Sundays, whenever you want. It's there for everyone. Right, let's come off Mr. Gallagher at the moment, because let's go on to a close. But I did say we're going to check out Jetpacker, didn't we? So remember, Jetpacker was the first to pit out of the top 5. I did call it. Someone asked who I thought was going to pit first, and he was extremely tail happy, and I did think it was a tyre issue, which he came in first, so I'm assuming it was. He finds himself down in 13th place. He's only 1.6 behind Bruges though, so he is closing that gap down. And again, look, you've got two guys that I did say at the start of this, there's two individuals, having watched you guys for many months now, there's two individuals that I know are extremely good on their tyres, and that's Marty and TK Drifter. And they've both done both their stops already. Ollie and Ams have both decided to pit from 1 and 2. That's interesting. Any Porsches? Well, yeah, there she is. So Milden's got to take the lead of this race. A place he'll no doubt be very happy to be. No doubt, very happy. So then you've got, who's coming out of the pits? That was Dokuno, wasn't it? I think. No. Right, so Milden is first place. That was pretty deep into T1 there. Gallagher is in fourth. Obviously they haven't fully updated yet, because there's no way Ollie has done his pit stop and got back out in first place. That's not possible. And it's also saying AMS has just completed a stop and has come out in second place. We'll wait for the computer to do its thing. Maybe it is, who knows, maybe they've built a huge gap before. Gallagher's saying is in fourth, Michael's in fifth at the moment, 3.5 seconds back. Crazies is in sixth place, Bruges is seventh, Jetpack is fighting his way back through the field after getting that stop done, so he's in eighth place. Jamie is in ninth, he's got to be quite happy with that. Dokuno is currently coming into the pits. Looks like he's just finished his stop. No, he's just coming in to get it done. Ponyfeeder's running 11th, Kagatako's 12th, Kino's running in 13th at the moment, and then we've got Shez 14th, Hutch 15th, then we've got Steph, Plurmodge, Rob 2K. Rob's had an unfortunate race. Let's have a look at Rob. He's not too far behind these boys. And then Mighty Road Racing is 19th, has done both stops with 41 minutes left. Shigs is 20th, Lord Ash Wilson is 21st. We're coming to T1. Is Rob going to put a move on Plurmodge? No, showed him the nose, tucked back over to take his normal racing line, and away they go. I think he's definitely got a bit more pace though, as he should, really. That's no disrespect to Plurmodge or to Steph, but those two have been together for the entire race, which is fantastic. It's just showing you can have a great battle with someone for a long time. But Rob was obviously much higher up the field until he got a little bit greedy and the beamer snapped on him a little bit. So Marty's 19th, catching, yeah. Both stops completed. This is a nice view actually. We can actually watch that little battle, that little trio in front. Let's see if they all get into and out of the hairpin in a safe manner. Looks like they do. So Shigs is 20th, Ash has pitted from 21st, Drifter's done both stops, Venom has also done both stops, and then Dawes is still running. He's got one stop left to complete. Remember, Dawes is joining us again this evening. He's been away for I think 6 weeks, so first one back. Maybe a bit rusty, but I'm sure he'll be just very, very happy to be involved. And it looks like, yeah, I was just about to say Ben's closing down Ben, but Ben's taken Ben. So it's Ben 1 and Ben 2. A lot of Bens. And Michael desperate to get back on the tail of these two, as Ben Milden there looked like he went, no, he didn't go wide. That was just deceiving from the camera angle I was on. Ollie still was in 4th place. Hams is in 5th, Crazies has ended up into 6th place, Bruce 7th, and Jetpacker, remember, was in that top 5, but others have pitted earlier and had a free air, and had obviously made very good use of that. So Jetpacker finds himself back in 8th place with a lot of work to do, because Bruges won't move over and Crazies ain't going to get out of the way, and there's no way Hams is going to do that either. There we go. So Jamie's in 9th, and Ponyfeeder is currently bringing up the top 10. Who's that? So Hutch and Dokuno, they look like they're pretty close, don't they? Let's have a look at those two. Bentley versus Ferrari. Bentley gets a little bit out of shape there. So Dokuno, he's double pitted as well. Always interested to see how these strategies actually play out, you know, in terms of how they fueled, what are they going to do with the tyres if they feel good. That's quite a big bang above my head. That's my son's bedroom. Hopefully he hasn't just fell out of bed, but you never know. Don't worry, I'll tell him to be quiet. This is obviously much more important. Right, Mighty Road Racing is only 3/10. Right, so these guys are still at it. And Rob 2K, wow, see, because Steph and Plurmodge are, or were, because there's a bit of a gap between them now, engrossed in their Bentley battle, and I mean engrossed in it, which is great. Marty's not been able to put a move on anybody yet. Obviously he's very, very close, but we've got 3 cars there. We've got 3 identical cars, obviously tweaks in setups, but it's the same machinery, so they're going to get the same acceleration, they're going to pretty much be in the same braking zones. It's about finding the right time. But Rd3 in his Beamer, well, he is closing up on these. A little bit too much curb there from Rob. That definitely would have slowed his momentum down as we were coming out of there. Into Coca-Cola curve once more. Come on, Marty. Come on, Palermo. See, I'm not favouring anyone. Drag race down the main straight. It's going to be getting a bit of a tow, but not much. Oh, and he's gone late on those brakes, so he's definitely going to be trailing off on them at the moment. Just going to park it across him, so we can't come back at him straight away. And Marty gets that move done. I'm sure he'll be pleased with that. He needs to get another one out of the way, and then he can start making his way up the field again. So up top, Mr. Gallagher, as you can see, not very long ago, put the move on Milden. But he's already got that up to nearly, well, there we go, so Milden's pulled the trigger. I was going to say, he's almost pulled that up to 4 seconds already. And Ben's like, nah, it's time for the second stop. We've got 36 and a bit minutes left. That is fine for one set of tyres. So let's get it done. And let's see where we come out. So Ollie's still running in third place, 3.5 seconds behind Michael. And then Ams is back in fifth, so he's another 10 seconds down the road. So really, you've got your top 4 and 5. It's going to be very interesting to see where they all come out at the end. We don't know, do we? That is the beauty of it. Marty's now only a few tenths behind Steph. He wants to get that move done as well, because Hutch was only 2.5 seconds ahead of Steph. That's now increased to 3 seconds, because obviously Steph is too busy worried about Marty behind him. Obviously there's going to be no blue flags involved in this. This is 4th position. And again, you've got all this really close, really fast, great racing going on. And we're down in 16th, 17th and 18th position. Come on, Rob. I thought you were closer than that. I'd love to have the sweatometer on at the moment to just see how hard these guys are having to work, because you've got to think most of the races, apart from sort of Endurance Friday, which is a 2-hour race, and some of the really special events that we do, you know, like 6 hours and things like that, you know, an hour and a half race is hard work. It's bloody hard work. So we've almost completed an hour of that. So these guys on a normal race evening would be like, oh my god, you know, most of them last night were saying they were broken after the hour race we had last night. And the Nurbs is quite a physical track to drive on as well. You know, there's a lot of flowing corners, and you're doing quite a lot of work in the car as wow, nice little bump draft there, once, twice, 3 times a lady. So Marty really wanted to get that inside line, because Steph got a slow drive out of the previous corner, but couldn't make it happen. Maybe Steph is being put off a little bit too much at the moment. So if I was Steph, quite honestly, and I knew that Marty was behind me and had done both his pit stops, which you'll be able to see on his HUD, obviously depending which one he's using, and considering Marty's normally a top 5-6 driver in this tier, he's holding me up. Yeah, if I'm too busy defending, and there you go, you see, a mistake. So Steph's made a mistake there. Is that going to allow Palermo's to get through? No, it's not. So he's far enough ahead. That's good. But yeah, you know, you don't want to be getting held up, be that when you're attacking or defending somebody. You need to keep that momentum going. Jetpack has got himself up to 7th place, so he's had an extra one up there. I think that was because Milden pitted, correct. But he's now only 8 tenths behind Bruce, so he has caught him up. 33.5 minutes left of this 90-minute special. Round 3, Formula Racing in Taco Tuesday season, Tier 1 on the PS5. Could probably do a slightly longer intro than that next time, really. And we've got, well, I think we've got 5 watching now. If you're not asleep, put something in the chat. You know, I don't want people falling asleep. So Milden's come out of the pit, so he is in 12th at the moment. He's only 4 tenths behind Kino, who's in 11th, and still do that last stop. I'm not going to come off this battle because this is developing quite nicely. You've got the Beamer, which we've talked about quite a bit this evening in terms of the sort of stability of that car. And the ease of which she generally takes most situations, and then we've got the angry Audi really in 7th place, who's very, very temperamental, but if she's set up right, and it looks like Jetpacker and Ben Gallagher up top have set their Audis up beautifully, she is quick. Then you saw Jetpacker's just lost a bucket of time coming out the Coca-Cola curve then, because Bruges was able just to keep that Beamer steady and get on the power at just the right time. So interesting to see how that one develops. Having a quick look back here, Milden and Kino, they've decided to lock horns and do battle, and those curves didn't mean anything to Milden, did they? No chance. No chance. Chomping them up in that Bentley. Gets a better drive out of there as well. So Kino, as you can see in his nice livery there, he's driving for Red King Motorsport, so their livery is red and black. Into T1, Kino knows he's not really fighting that one straight away, so he took a slightly different line, broke a bit earlier to try and get a cut back on, but Milden in the SBR Bentley just manages to put her in the right position. As you can see, Kino's not giving up on this one, still trying to harass him. Obviously the Ferrari is good in certain parts of the track here, but again, just look at the traction the Bentley gets out of there, just pulls. She just pulls, so that was unfortunate. And Ben seems to be in a very good place at the moment. No doubt he would have been buoyed by that championship win yesterday. No, that's right, Daz. There is no curb bothering the Bentley. None at all. There never is. Right, so Jetpacker, we missed that because we were watching Ben and Kino, but that's fine, we saw a move done there. We did say Jetpacker was closing that gap up towards Bruges quite rapidly, and that slippery little Audi, she's made that move, and Bruges decides, yeah, no problem, I'll go and do my pit stop. So he's going to come in and get his second one done. So that frees Jetpacker up into, I'd say, 6th place, but Crazies is coming to the pits as well in his Beamer, so Jetpacker moves himself back into the top 10. Interesting. Very interesting, boys and girls. Shigs, look at that, eh? Shigs is only 8.5 tenths behind Palermoj. That looks like a nice little battle developing there, doesn't it? I think Palermoj is also in Red King Motorsport, looking at that livery. I should know, I mean, I'm in that team, so. As is Steph. And Shez, wow, okay, so Kino's lost a position there. Kino has lost a position. Shez has got himself up to 12th place, 1.3 behind Milden. Or is that the fact that Ben has moved up another spot and not Kino losing a spot? That's probably what's happened, to be fair. So Gallagher's still up top, 7.7 seconds ahead of Michael. That's impressive. We're under the 30-minute mark here, so don't worry guys, you've only got another probably 31 minutes to go of listening to me and you can go to bed. Now it's 8 seconds. Gallagher's got some serious pace around this track, and Michael's made a mistake. That was at the NGK chicane, which I did say in free practice that McLaren, she didn't look very happy. I thought he's probably just pushing track limits, but maybe she doesn't like the directional change there. Who knows? I mean, if anyone's going to tame her, it's got to be that guy. But he's got company. So again, we've now got battles starting to develop as they're getting later into this stint before those second stops. We've still got an optimum track. Okay, the track temperature's actually come down quite heftily. It's only 17 degrees at the moment, but there's no sign of that rain. Which, you know what, that would disappoint me, because I made a thumbnail earlier on which was like, you know, in the pouring rain, because I was told, you know, not that we're going to get pouring rain, but you know, that the weather might play a part. And I know might's a pretty big word in that. Could mean yay, could mean nay, but I did think we might have a little bit of rain. Maybe not though. The clouds, they don't look too rainy at the moment, to be fair. So Ben, and he's absolutely smashing it up front. We're now watching Michael and Ollie Racing having their battle for the second and third place. It's only 7 tenths in it. AMS has just driven a very consistent, quiet race at the moment. Yeah, he's running in 4th place. He's moved up through the pack nicely. Nothing spectacular. No one's probably even really noticed him, but he's been there or thereabouts and has been really consistent, which is why he finds himself in 4th place. However, I'm sure Jetpacker's going to want to have something to say about that, but he's quite a way back as well, just coming up towards the hairpin. Jamie's in 6th. I put Jamie in the same category as Ams on that front. He's had a very uneventful race in terms of us seeing loads of stuff happening, but he's been plugging away. He has been plugging away nicely as he goes past Ash. I think Ash moved out the way nicely there, blue flags. Ponyfeed is in 7th. He's having a very, very good race actually, Ponyfeed. And Kagatako's finds himself in the top 10 once more in 8th. Ben Milden in 9th at the moment, but you will notice he's green. Everyone else is gold and 1, which means Ben has completed both pit stops, doesn't need to stop again, so he's got a 27-minute dash to the end of this race. Sean, did he take tyres again, or is he running this whole race on one set of tyres? Come on. Oh, you can't really tell me yet, can you? No, you can't tell me. Don't tell me. Because if people have got the stream on and they hear what you say, then they might decide to do the same. So don't answer that question, mate. We'll find out afterwards. Shez is 10th. Great one from Shez. Kino's 11th. Dokuno's not too far off the back of Kino at the moment in 12th place. So we've got a little Ferrari battle going on here. That'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Ollie is still 7.5 tenths behind Michael, 2nd and 3rd place. We don't need to move on to that at the moment. Let's enjoy Dokuno and Kino having their battle in their Ferraris. 2 different teams, remember. That gap has come down slightly at the front. We'll just keep one eye on that as we go through Coca-Cola Curve. That was a good drive out of there from Dokuno. So these boys, but ideally he wants to be tucked in behind him to use that toe so we can just duck out at the last minute. He's not getting any advantage from being sat here at the moment. Well, he's gone late. I mean, there's late and then there is late. Is he going to get that stopped? I don't think he is. No, well, Kino's got a chance to get on the power there. No doubt he has, but Dokuno's managed. That was a fantastic move. Managed to put that Ferrari in the right place at the right time. Massively late on the brakes. Managed to get her turned in. Okay, went a little bit wide, but then obviously just used those brakes enough, probably let off slightly just to allow it to roll on a bit. Managed to take that position from Kino. So unlucky to you, mate. Well, there you go. I was going to say Ollie's still pretty close to Michael. That's closer than pretty close. Those two are becoming very, very good friends in this race. Just over 25 minutes left to go. Into T1. So who have we got in front there? Is that Drifter or Hutch? Oh no, Hutch has gone to the Bentley, so that's got to be Drifter then. Excuse me, Drifter's done both stops, remember, so probably not going to be challenging come the end of the race. I'm interested to know where these boys all come out in regards to Ben, because I mean those two are going to be squabbling again. It's going to be slowing them down. Ben just continues at a rate of knots, just eating into their times. Yeah, he's got to come out. He's got to come out in a very, very favourable position. I would suggest as Drifter, you can see there, pulls out to the right hand side. The rules within FRL are very, very simple. Very, very simple, ladies and gents. If you are being blue flagged, do not come off your racing line. Yeah, the blue flags are to tell you there's a quicker car approaching. Doesn't mean jump out the way and die. It means be aware you've got a quick one on the way. Keep on your racing line. As soon as you get into a position where it is safer, i.e. a straight, you don't even have to pull over, just back off. You know, you could indicate and pull out the way like Drifter did then. That is the way that it's done, and you know we've done a lot of work on the rules and looked at a lot of incidents over the years really, and that is a rule which people are now seeming to take on quite well. So we're not having as many incidents with that, which is fantastic. And everyone knows where they stand, of course. So anyway, we're watching Ollie at the moment, still putting pressure on Michael. Ben's just out there. He is out there at the moment, isn't he? Amzi is still in 4th place. We'll stick on with Ollie. Jetpacker has got himself up to 5th. Jamie's 6th. Ponyfeed is 7th. We've done that already. Milden is 8th. How far behind Pony are you? 6 seconds. Could be a top 5. Could be a top 5 one. Shez is 9th. Dokuno, fantastic drive from him. He's in 10th. And obviously he's not that far behind Shez. Shez has to pit again. So net 9th for him. which is really impressive actually. Keno's in 11th, still has to pit, as does Hutch in 12th. Mighty Road Racing has pitted in 13th. Crazy's is 14th, has pitted. Kagatako's is 15th, has pitted. And then we've got Shigs in 16th, is the last of our runners who has, hasn't done both pit stops there. Rouge is 17th, Drifter's 18th, so these guys have all pretty big gaps between them, apart from Rob 2K. Bosh, let's have a look at Rob, perfect timing. So we've got a Beamer battle going on here. 27 of Venom, 75 of Rob. Just under 3 tenths between these two, so we can enjoy this one whilst again just keeping an eye on all those other doubters, just in case anything looks like it's going to get juicy that we need to move on to. 22 minutes left of this 90-minute race. It's been a fantastic race. Clean. I mean clean. The pace has been relentless, and we've still got some really good pit strategies that are yet to fully play out. The weather has been very, very kind to everybody, which I wasn't expecting. I didn't want that to happen. Anyway, can Rob get a move done on Venom? We shall find out shortly. Now 6.5 tenths. Ben's got an 11.5 second gap. You would be a bit gutted if there was an issue with the pit stop now, though. You certainly would. Top 7 has still yet to complete their second stop. As we're coming up towards the chicane, again we were discussing this with the Bentleys earlier on, where we had 3 of them all in a fight together in terms of it being the same machinery. Obviously we've got differences in setups, and we're seeing that with these two in the BMW having a nice battle together. And a bit further up the road you've got Shigs and Bruges, who are also both in Beamers, and they're not split by much either. So the Beamer boys are all having a bit of fun with each other at the moment, and that gap at the top is still around 6 tenths, and nothing's changed there. Michael is holding off the advances of Ollie, definitely keeping him at arm's length. Ams is 14 odd seconds behind the Jetpackers number 24, so there won't be a challenge from those guys because they've all got to pit again. We want to know what's going on with Milden. That's the one we want to know. So it says 6 tenths. That's definitely not 6 tenths between these two. That's more like 2.5 tenths. See if it changes on the timing screen. If I get it right, who's going to give me a prize? 2.3. That's 2.5 tenths. You've got to round that up from 2.25. I win. Thanks very much. Yes, I am slightly crazy. Let's have a look at the other Beamer battle. We've got a 3-way Beamer battle here. So we've got Shigs in 15th place in front in the number 8. He needs to pit and decides he's going to pit. So that battle is over. However, we could... Ooh, what's that? Marty's not too far off the back of Hutch. Hutch has to pit, as does Keno. So Marty's going to elevate himself probably up into the top 10. Unless those boys just do a really... Well, he will go into the top 10. We'll go back to it. Don't worry. Ooh, 4.5 tenths between Michael and Ollie. Things are getting a bit close now. We are under the 20-minute mark. Again, the track temp has come down another degree. So rather than, let's say, having rain that's causing an issue on the track in terms of dampness and general grip, what you have had is the track temperatures come down steadily. No, Hutch, did you just move out of the way? I think Hutch just got out of the way there. That was very generous of you. And Rob 2K still having this battle with Venom. Remember, Venom last night finished second in the GT3 class for Mixed Mondays at this track. So he knows the track, and he does have good pace around the track. That's what I'm saying to you. Just because these guys are further down, it's not because they're slow. They're not. It's a really fast track. Who's that? Oh, that's Hutch. He's trying to get that back. So these two are carrying on their little scrap. As Ollie, he still can't quite get on the back of Michael, can he? Which I'm sure Michael's happy about, because he doesn't know how much Ollie weighs, probably. But the sky, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a look, is looking a little bit darker. And when I say a little bit, I mean a lot darker. It's definitely looking a bit more moody There's no rain forecast on that map, but it is looking a lot darker. So let's just say that with 3 minutes to go, which would be a bit poor if it was 3 minutes to go, there was an absolute thunderstorm. Obviously we've got some individuals who can still make a pit stop. Pony's coming for his now. Could come in and put wet tyres on, and this is probably what these guys are all now hoping for. It's either going to be enough time to stick a quick set of slicks on or not change at all, or if it pees it down, then they could jump in and get a nice set of wets, and that should help them out if the others don't come in for wets. It's definitely looking a little bit darker, no doubt about that. Everybody watching, what do you think? Are we going to have a bit of a crazy thunderstorm at the end of the race? That would be pretty cool. For us, obviously. Not for these guys. Although it would certainly challenge them after an hour and 10 at the moment. Nearly an hour and 15 minutes of absolute non-stop, flat-out racing. Their brains must be absolutely exhausted by now. But at the same time, I bet they're all having a blast. Well, the weather map's saying no rain for the next 15 minutes, and we've only got 16 and a bit minutes to go, so I'm not holding out too much hope. Hopefully the weather map is totally wrong and it just... heavens opens. So Ben's still holding that 11.5 second lead over Michael. Ollie's still 6/10 behind Michael. He just can't get close enough to get that move done. And Rob, as we're watching at the moment, and who's that? That was a Ferrari. It wasn't Dorsey, was it? Yeah, it was. Dorsey gets out of the way. Let's have a look. Let's go on board with Dawes at the moment. We haven't given him a huge amount of time this evening. Evidently, you know, we've got to follow where all the close battles are. But he's privileged because he's got a really close battle just ahead of him. There's only 4 attempts between these two into the Schumacher S's. We'll see how long Dawes could try and hold on to the back of these guys, or we'll see a move happen. Look at that, that was some strong defensive drive in there, wasn't it, by Venom. He's not giving that position up lightly. Again, this is 18th and 19th, guys. Look how hard these chaps are driving and fighting for a couple of points. But it's a 10 race season, so as I said before, every point count. A nice move from Rob there. Ooh, Venom's coming across to cover that line. Rob says, right, well, I'll go back down the other way. They're both late on the brakes. Venom was probably a little bit too late on the brakes there, hence he overcooked it in. Rob's got a chance to stick it up the inside. No touching, boys. They're going to touch. Wow, that was close. I really thought we were going to have a love tap there. These two are battling like it's for the lead. Fantastic. 15 minutes left to go, and they're still giving it their all. Down in towards turn 1, so Rob's got the inside line. He's going to go late on the brakes. Venom, you saw, just, I'm not going to say squeeze because he wasn't, but was just trying to put Rob off a little bit, I think, there. And we've had a switcheroo tried. Rob has got that move done, so eventually, after what must seem an eternity of easily probably a good 6 to 10 laps race between these two nose to tail, that move finally gets done. Wow. Right, let's move away from that for a moment. We'll keep an eye on it though, as Ollie's now under half a second behind Michael, and you can see Michael's either dropping off more or just Gallagher's pace is just absolutely phenomenal this evening. AMS is still in 4th place, and you see the pit stops are starting to pan out now. Ben Milden is in 5th because Jamie's in the pits. I think he's just driven through my Porsche. Damn it. We missed that one again. So Milden finds himself up into 5th place. Remember, he's done his pit stop, so I want to see how far behind he is from AMS, because these guys have all still got to pit. And I hope, you know, Ben's just plodding along, isn't he? He's just getting those lap times done. That's under 3/10 now, as Michael again goes through the chicane. Gallagher's come in for his pit stop, so he's decided it's time to do it because we are under the 15-minute mark, and there's nothing on that weather radar to say that there's rain coming anytime soon, even though it's looking quite ominous. So Ben's thinking, right, it's now time. Let's see how long he's in the pits for. There's my Porsche. Hurrah! Because Yvolton would be gutted if he didn't get to see the Porsche. Well, we're not going to sit in there all day, obviously, but I wanted to have a quick look, because remember, we said before, earlier on, Sean told us that Milden didn't take tyres on his first stop, and Ben Gallagher did. So then I said, well, when he comes in for the next stop, he probably won't take tyres, and Ben Milden probably will take tyres, so it should equal itself out. Again, who knows? I mean, we're not in either of their cars or heads, so we don't know, do we? So everybody's done their 2 stops now, apart from Michael, Ollie and AMS. And Michael and Ollie are just having a well, they're just enjoying themselves, aren't they? No doubt they're both losing time, but they are enjoying themselves. So AMS is... okay, so he is quite far down the track, isn't he? Interesting. Interesting, that one. Right, Venom's now a second behind. So in terms of where we're at, gap-wise, they're all pretty big, apart from this one. So we'll stick on it because it is the closest one we have. So Michael's now leading the race. Ollie is now second. AMS is now third. Obviously, Gallagher's been in the pits and had his stop done. He's coming through that part. And then Milden, okay, he's coming through the complex. So he has a comfortable gap, yeah, as we would expect, back towards Milden now. Has the fact that Michael's been busy in this huge battle with Ollie for lap after lap after lap after lap, is that going to mean that he's been held up sufficiently to not be ahead of Milden when the pit stops are done? That's what we've got to look at. I'm sure he's looking at his HUD and he's trying to calculate all these things. He'll be well aware of who's pitted where, and you know what, he might even decide... man, he won't, because he's still going to lose a fair amount of time in the pits, but he might decide just to do a splash and dash and just think, look, let's just try and hold on to these tyres as much as we can. We've 11.5 minutes left of this race. It's pretty crazy, you know. We've been on, how long have we been on for now? 8:15. What time is it? The time is 8:15. So we've been broadcasting for 2 hours straight now. It doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like that at all. Always new stuff to talk about, always new things going on, things to think about. Drifter, oh well, maybe that was the wrong time to go off that one. So Drifter's in 15th, Shez is in 14th, so we've got the crazy old Jag. I know Drifter loves this Jag, and she is looking to see if she can get a move done on the 37 Beamer of Shez, and these two are looking pretty close. Ollie and Michael are still battling out at the front, nearly 4 tenths between them, so I want to try to be fair and give everybody some good air time. No excuse really with a 90-minute race. Jetpack has kept his 7th place at the moment. Dakuno, again, we were saying earlier on, you know, he just has a habit of being really consistent. He's in 6th place at the moment. We've got 3 ahead that still have to do their stops, so he may even do better than that. And Jetpack will be hoping that he could just get some more clean laps in, because he did, when he did his stop, was in the top 5. Marty Road Racing said again, very good on his tyres, been running for a long time. He's in 8th at the moment, Crazy's in 9th. GT Jamie rounds out your top 10 on this round 3 Taco Tuesdays Tier 1 on the PS5. Candy's in 11th, Bruges 12th, Pony is 13th, Shez is just in front of us in 14th. We're on board with Drifter at the moment in the Triple X Motorsport Jag. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Looking to gain a place. Kino's in 16th place. Hutch is 17th. Rob's in 18th. It's been all about damage limitation for Rob this evening, just to get the race done, get those points in the bag. Did have a nice battle with Venom though, and they're still only 1.3 apart, so that could materialise into another one shortly. Steffi's 20th. Palermo is 21st. Ash is 22nd. Dawes is running 23rd. 4 laps down. But again, look, he's still running. That is the point. We're under 10 minutes. He's still running. He's going to pick up some points, and he's going to have done a 90-minute race. Cooley's still with us in the pits, which I'm glad to see. Got disconnected, but he's in the pits. Or that might just be in the shell, if you like, in the pits. He was having a fantastic race as well until that point. So that's twice I've watched him now. Twice he hasn't finished because of issues, but twice, you know, he's definitely putting a message out there that if he doesn't get disconnected, and his knee's all good, which he has said in the chat, it's all fine now, he is going to be a contender, no doubt about that. Another fight developing at the moment is Bruges and Kagatakos. We haven't had a look at Kaga all evening, so let's have a look at the 88 Ferrari in front, which is Kagatakos, and we're on board with Bruges in the 18 Beamer at the moment. This is over 11th and 12th place again, so you know, we're not fighting for a podium, but significant points which will all become important at the end of the season. Lighting is still getting progressively worse. Obviously I think we're probably even coming in towards night time maybe. And JR's in. Let's go Ben and Marty. Right, let me give you an update, JR, because you've been busy racing. How did you get on in your race, by the way? Please let me know. I could only catch 5-10 minutes because obviously I had to come over here and do the comms, but let me know how you got on. Just to let you know, Mr. Milden came in, did 2 stops early, was running in clean air and has got himself at the moment up to 5th. Ollie's pitted and Ams have pitted as well, so those two have gone for it. Michael has stayed out, so is Michael going to take the risk, yeah, and try and get that McLaren to the end of the race? Well, he's going to have to pit, but is he going to take tyres? Don't know. So Gallagher has been showing fantastic pace. Remember, was leading Michael by about 11-12 seconds when he did his last pit stop, so he's got to move back up the pecking order. And what I'm trying to say, JR, is Mr. Milden, yeah, was pretty smart with his strategy so far and has got himself from 15th up to 5th. And Marty pitted extremely early. I think he had 51 minutes left to go after he did his second stop. But yeah, he's trying it. He's definitely doing well. When are you going to pit, Michael? Are you just trying to see if this is the one to get a lead? So Ollie's pitted, Ams has pitted. Wow, Ben, look at that. That is astonishing. Where are they? Okay, so they're coming up to that bit, and Ben's down at the hairpin, so that hasn't updated. Right, Ollie's just coming out of the hairpin and Ben's coming into the... Okay, so that... Okay, now it's updated. Thank you, Mr. Computer. So Ben actually finds himself behind Ollie. So I thought the fact that Michael and Ollie were scrapping so hard for so long was going to be holding them up. Remember, when Gallagher came into the pits, he had at least, I'd say, 13-second lead over Michael and Ollie. Yep. And he pitted earlier than them. At that point, Michael and Ollie were having a titanic battle, literally 2.5 tenths for lap after lap. Those two, well, certainly Ollie at the moment, and must have done a splash and dash. Yeah, couldn't have taken tyres. That's what I'm thinking. So we'll have a little watch of that at the moment, see what he's like in the corners and getting on the throttle, because I mean, Ben Gallagher, his pace during this race has been absolutely astonishing. Seriously, I've been so impressed with him. There you go, Kino's in 16th, under a second behind Drifter, so he's got to maybe want to try and salvage something out of that. And Kagatakos and Bruges are still only separated by half a second. That is less than half a second as we're on the way up towards the Schumacher S's. Is there a move going to be done just yet? No, but that Ferrari doesn't want to be taking too much curb there. You know what she's like, she'll try and spit you out if you're just a teeny little bit over the edge. Appreciate the support and comment, my friend. But no, how did you get on? I should have been top 10 damage. Yeah. And the race director, oh, that's not nice. Drive, that's not nice. That's not nice, JR. Shocking. Put an appeal in. Come on, I'll back it up. We'll say we watched it. We'll get all the FRL guys to sign it. Yeah, it'll be fine. Oh, Bruges has missed his braking point completely there, is it? And then, so you could see these two are pushing really hard. Bruges on the way into the chicane missed his braking point and went off, and it looked like Kagatakos obviously got the turning bit right, straight lined it a little bit too much, and obviously went out wide then because he was taking too much pace in. But hey, they're both pushing. What can you expect? So Ben is 7 seconds. Wow. Let's see if he can bring that time down. I mean, earlier on in the race you would have said, yeah, he will be able to close that down, but he's 7.3 seconds behind. Michael still hasn't pitted yet. Michael's got 2 minutes 45 left of the pit window, so he has to pit on the end of this lap. Will he? Okay, so he has got a decent lead there, and if he does a splash and dash, he won't need to change tyres because there'll only be one lap left one lap left of the race. If he comes in and does a splash and dash, this is going to be tight. Again, this just shows that people, you know, generally speaking, I say most people that are at this level in the game, you know, they're constantly thinking, they're always looking at ways that they can maximise or alter their strat, you know, thinking on the fly, which is not easy. It's not when you're doing this much hard work. And it may be that Michael's been looking at how things have developed. We did see him going a bit slower earlier on. I did say maybe we're doing a bit of tyre conservation there. And maybe that's the reason why he just decided to go to the end of the window, stop and put a litre of fuel in, and get on his way. So, well, we're going to find out very shortly. Thanks, Michael. It's fantastic. You're making things exciting at the end of a 90-minute race. And a 2.5 hour broadcast. It's all good, mate. So, elsewhere, we're going to keep an eye and see how this one develops. So, elsewhere, so Ollie's still second, Ben's third. He hasn't closed that gap down, but I think he's going to be a bit gutted about that because... So, he's got 37.5 seconds in the bag. Okay, so taking into account pit lane in, if he does a very, very quick stop. So, here we go then. This is it. This is for the win. Michael's coming in to do his second pit stop. Remember, Ollie is 35 seconds behind. So, Ollie's coming up to this part, right? Okay. Ben is catching him, so he's brought that down from 7.4 to 6.7. That's not going to be enough though, unless he gets held up, because he does have traffic in front of him, which may prove to be quite crucial. And hopefully, just for everyone that's watching, the last lap, the leader of the race is going to drive through my new Porsche. No, he's not. It's gonna... This couldn't get any better. 101 Porsche. This is for your Volton as well, for when you watch the stream later on, buddy. And I told you that was 1 litre of fuel, splash and dash, no tyres needed. Right, so but they're on the way down the start finish straight, but there's 3 of them in front of him. So if Michael can get up to speed and get out ahead of these 3, that should be in his pocket, and I do believe that has happened. So Michael's gone in on the very last opportunity of the pit window at the end of this 90-minute race, hasn't changed tyres, he's done a little splash of fuel, so he's done a very, very quick pit stop. Ollie was 35 seconds behind him and has closed him right down, but he's got 3 back markers in front of him. So even taking into consideration blue flags, they're not all just going to jump out of the way. And if Michael is smart now with the rest of this lap in terms of timing, he could finish the race on this lap. Let's see if he does that. And Ben's desperately trying to fight to get back in there. Ams is 4th, running a great race. Milden is 5th, he's had a really good race, 15th up to 5th. Dokuno has also risen through the ranks again, very impressively, to be in 6th place. Jetpack has dropped back, unfortunately, from that first pit stop. He was running the top 5 and is running 7th now. Marty Road Racing has come through the field nicely in 8th. Then we've got Crazies and Kagatakos, that makes up your top 10. But here we go, this is still the battle for the lead. So one of those back markers has been cleared. Now it's a question, you know, can Michael hold it together? We've got 15 seconds left of the race. This is your last lap. So can Michael hold it together? How many left in front of him? So another one's out of the way. There's one person in between them. Michael's gone wide there, so he's going to have lost time through there. Ollie's got to clear that Beamer in front of him, and then it's a straight run between these 2, but we've only got the chicane and the Coca-Cola curve to go. But remember, everybody, Michael's been having some major issues at this chicane throughout the race. It has been unsettling the McLaren. So is he going to get through it cleanly? I'm sure he is very, very conscious of that. Takes it cautiously, gets her through, into the last corner. Michael's going to win this race. Look at that. And who's in front? We've got a Beamer sat in front. Michael races. What a fantastic change to your strategy. Well done. First place, P1. Great race from you. Ollie Racing, so impressed with you, my friend. Top of the charts in free practice, pole position, and you've ran Michael right to the end, making him think about that pit strategy. Well done. Ben Gallagher, do you know what, mate? That was a stonking race for you. You're going to get my D of the D vote definitely today. Great pace. Well done on your podium. Ams finishes in 4th. Great run from you, Ams. Again, very kind of anonymous really in the race. Just really good, solid, consistent pace throughout those 90 minutes. Ben Milden, listen, mate, you got your championship yesterday. I thought for a minute with you running that slightly alternative strat that you might end up on the podium, but 5th place, you should be extremely happy with that as you celebrate with Ams. Dokuno, fantastic in 6th place. Again, very impressed with you. And Jetpacker, blistering pace as always in that Audi. I just think you need to learn, need to find a bit of time management on her, or get in the pits a lap earlier. And I think all those battles you were having is what caused you to end up in 7th place, because there was so competitive in that top 5 in the first sort of 25-30 minutes of the race. Marty Road Racing finishes is 8th place. Well done to you, mate. Very, very good race from you. Crazy's 9th, solid run from you. Kagatako's finishes in the top 10 yet again, so he's got to be happy with that. GT Jamie crosses the line in 11th place. Bruges ends up in 12th, and we've got Pony Feeder currently coming up to the final turn in 13th. Oh, but Shares wants, well, just to make it interesting, so Pony finishes 13th, Shares crosses the line in 14th place, TK Drifter in that crazy XXX Motorsport Jag in 15th place, Kino's in 16th, Rob 2K damage limitation today, it was really unfortunate, great qualifying, really good start to the race in the fight, one tiny mistake, ended up moving down the grid, never really recovered. So solid 17th though. Hutch in 18th place, still probably crying about Man City winning the league. Venom, who was second last night in the and I can feel a slight bang there, probably some frustration needed to be gotten rid of. Venom 19th, Steph 20th place, Palermo's 21st, Ash in 22nd, Dawes finished in 23rd place. You know what, mate? Well done though. First race back with us for 6 weeks. Really, obviously rusty, but you cracked on and you finished that race. And obviously my Porsche is the best in 22nd. There you go, guys. 8 of you watching. Please all press like. I've been sat here for 700 hours this evening at the Nurburgring. Please take pity on me. But only if you like it. So, well done everybody. That was round 3, Taco Tuesdays, 90-minute special. Fantastic race. Congratulations to the podium again. Driver of the day for me is Ben Gallagher. And guys, you've all been absolutely amazing. So, thankfully, you won't have to listen to me tomorrow or Thursday. We can have a couple of nights off. I'll be back on Friday for the Formula Racing League Pure Sim Gear GT3 on PC. Don't forget to catch that stream. Guys, you've been awesome. So, COMMS by COOPS out.